either ahead or even instead of playing from behind against these guys, because I think they'll play with more confidence if they're ahead, and they could also maybe control the game, from the post area if they get a lead.
They haven't had a lot of success on the road, but they did have one big win against a team we played, Cal, at home. Held them to under 40 points.
Yeah, don't remind me of that. They're good defensively. I like what they can do, and in some ways they matched up. We just had such a hard time guarding Cal's big player, and she got in foul trouble against Kansas, which probably skewed the game a little bit that way. But that's a great win for them. But they've also, they lost their only true road game at Purdue, and they went down to the wire with South Dakota, who at home. So we feel like we got enough film on them that hopefully we put together a game plan and can be competitive.
The challenge is they're a very balanced team. You can't just focus on one of their players. You really have to step it up defensively.
Yeah, but it starts with Gardner in the post, who's just a really tough matchup for us. And we'll give, when they're with some lineups that they have, we'll give more help, and with other lineups, we won't be able to give as much help onto her. But Natalie Knight seems like she's been there 6 years, and she's just a really solid wing player for them. And their freshman guards are doing a nice job for them. And you're right, they are balanced. The Cheadle kid, who's a freshman, scored 19 in their last game. So they've got other people who can get it done, but it really kind of does start with Gardner and Knight.
You talk about the slow starts your team has had, even though they played well mostly in the second halves. I know if you had the answer, you'd fix it. But any thoughts? Young team, you think?
Yeah, to some degree, and we're going to script our first few offensive possessions, and we've tried that before, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I feel like there's maybe if we can get the shots, we're going to run a couple things maybe for Marissa early to try to get her something in a spot where maybe she doesn't have to put the ball on the floor. But I feel like we've been a little too dribble happy early in the games, and you see that we drive the ball into traffic. And usually, typically, at the beginning of games, the defense is the best it's going to be the entire game. So we've really hurt ourselves with turnovers. Even if we're getting shots, as long as we're not turning the ball over early, I think we'll be okay.
You did start Bree on Saturday because of Bailey's illness. You going to go back to the lineup you had before?
No, we'll start Bree tonight again, but we'll play Bailey more. Bailey didn't play in the first half and really till the last 10 minutes of the game because of, she had missed 2 practices and really wasn't feeling that well that day. So, we're going to start Bree, but I look for Bailey to play, a decent amount. And Kylie will play a little bit at the 5 also for us.
As you kind of look at a few days off, kind of talk about the schedule you have for your team after tonight.
Sure. Well, we'll give them. They're free to go home, and I think everybody's leaving tonight. Those Minnesota kids will have a little bit of a drive, but most of them have their parents here. But we'll take off till Saturday evening. We'll give them the 23rd to 26th off, and come back on about 5 o'clock on the 27th. So give them 4.5 days, and still give us 3 days to get ready for Georgetown on the 30th.
Fran, good luck tonight.
Okay. Thank you, Brad.
You've been with head coach Jim Flannery. We'll be back with more of our pregame. You are listening to Creighton University Women's Basketball, 1180 Zone 2, The Deuce.
Camping World of Omaha is your one-stop shop for everything RV. Shop from the top manufacturers, the best floor plans, and the most competitive prices in the Omaha area. Travel trailers starting at only $99 per month. Plus, buy an RV from Camping World and receive access to the Good Sam Elite loyalty program, offering incentives valued at over $2,000. Don't miss out on the incredible deals at Camping World, located just east of Exit 1B on I-29 in Council Bluffs. Payments not inclusive of tax, title, license, prep, and dealer dock fees. See dealer for details and full disclaimers.
Vintage Financial Group is a local financial services company committed to helping individuals, families, and businesses achieve financial success. At Vintage Financial Group, we create plans as unique as each individual's needs. Contact Vintage Financial Group and their advisors, Brad Burwell, Kirsten Ricketts, Mindy Helfrich, or Pat Ricketts at 402-933 or vintagefinancialgroup.com.
Insurance issued by Principal Life Insurance Company. Securities offered through Greencore Financial Services Corporation. 800-247-1123. Member SIPC. Principal Life and Greencore are members of the Principal Financial Group, Des Moines, Iowa 50392. Vintage Financial Group is not an affiliate or any member of the Principal Financial Group.
Doctors Bimbo and Vince Petro provide quality caring dentistry for your whole family in a friendly, relaxed environment where new patients are always welcome. Look no further than Dr. 30 seconds. For more information or to make an appointment, call today, 397-4505. Doctors Bimbo and Vince Petro at the northwest corner of 144th and Dodge. Former basketball and baseball players, Creighton alums, and all-around sports fans.
Doctors Bimbo and Vince Petro, members of Creighton University and college athletics. You're listening to Creighton University women's basketball on 1180 Zone 2, The Blue.
Back once again at the Sokol Arena, waiting for both teams to return to the floor here. We're just about 5 minutes away from the start of this one. A little bit of a different flavor here, Rob. We didn't think anybody was going to show up, but a little bit of an earlier start here. The crowd's starting to come in. A little tough when students are gone. We heard Plan talk about the players going home. All the regular students have gone home, so really you're relying on the local community to support the Jays here tonight.
Well, I know the promotions department does, and marketing, they do a great job of getting the word out there. Santa Claus is here tonight if young families wanted to come out and see him before the game starts, and they always bring in high school bands and high school dance teams when the Creighton students are out of town. So yeah, it is a late arriving crowd. Obviously a very an hour earlier start than we're used to, the 7 o'clock tip, and we'll tip at 6 o'clock tonight. I think that is partially to help the players get out of here a little bit earlier.
And even the Jays mascot, as we can see, in the spirit of the season, dressed in a Santa outfit.
Billy Blue Jay, I overheard them. They took the old Billy Blue Jay Santa Claus outfit and put it on this one. Thankfully, it still fits with the new tail coming out of the behind area there.
We heard Plan talk about the centerpiece of this KU team, and that's Chelsea Gardner, a senior averaging almost 18 points a game. Jays will have some challenges defensively there.
Yeah, she'll be tough. You think to all these teams that Creighton has faced against Kansas over the years, they always seem to have a post player that's a little bit bigger and a little bit more athletic than the post players that Creighton's been able to get, and that's certainly the case here. No disparage to the Blue Jays post players. It's just that the fact that Kansas has been able to get that type of player, and the Jays haven't been. Chelsea Gardner fits that bill to a T. 6'3" senior post from DeSoto, Texas. She's a first team All Big 12 last year, preseason All Big 12 this year. Averaged better than 17 points, 8 rebounds a game last year. She's right about those same numbers again this year. She's second in school history in blocked shots there at Kansas. You talked about a very storied history there at Kansas basketball back in the 80s and the 90s a little bit. But yeah, Gardner's good, and Natalie Knight, you heard Flan mention that feels like she's been there forever. She kind of has. She started all 94 games in her career, so she's been a starter for 4 years, closing in on 100 starts in her career. She was honorable mention All Big 12 last year, so they've got some experience, and just from the Jays last year, leaning on experience is an important thing to be able to do when you're looking for success on the road.
And he talked about, we asked him about the start the team has gotten, and you and I have seen them get off to some slow starts, even on Saturday against UNO. They didn't get a shot their first 3 possessions. They're going to have to be a little bit more in tune with what's going on, or you and I have seen them fall down to KU 20-2.
Yeah, it's a run that the Jays can't afford to give up to start today's game, and it is something. It was nice to hear Flan talk about going out and scripting, rather than, if you watch Creighton basketball, if you've listened to us over the last 13 years or so since Flan's been head coach, he doesn't run a lot of set plays. It's a motion offense, and there's always constantly screens and cuts and everything, and the players know that that's their job, just to keep moving, and they'll get an open pass, maybe some back cuts here and there. But to hear Flan say we're going to script some plays is a different approach, and maybe it's necessary with a younger team to say, okay, here we need to have an idea in mind, because like you said, those first 3 turnovers on 3 possessions against UNO, it looked exactly like that. They looked lost. They didn't look like they had an idea of what they wanted to do. So it'll be interesting to see those scripted plays here tonight.
One of those young players who is knowing what she's doing, and we just found out today, 3rd week in a row in the Big East. The Big East Freshman of the Year, Sydney Lamberty. Not only that, she has one of the best assist-to-turnover ratios in the nation.
Yeah, in the nation. You think about that. She's a freshman. She's just playing her 12th collegiate game. She's 3rd. There's only 2 people in the entire country better than her in assist-turnover ratio. Her assist-turnover ratio is better than 4-to-1 assist-to-turnovers. 37 assists still, just 9 turnovers on the year. Couple that with another career-high 20 points the last time out against UNO. 3 straight Big East Freshman of the Week honors for Sydney. And Marissa Janning has gotten herself back on track a little bit over the past couple of games as well. 30 points against Drake. Had a good assist-turnover ratio in her previous game. Didn't have the shots. The shots weren't falling from Marissa, but she stayed in the game.
The one thing the Jays will have to do is shoot threes. There are 3 big scorers. We mentioned Lamberty, and certainly Marissa Janning and Kennetica all over 40%.
Well, and the Jays rank 4th in the nation in three-point percentage. Kansas ranks 9th in the nation in three-point percentage, so hopefully we'll be seeing a lot of made threes here this evening.
Well, we're going to step aside for 90 seconds. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineups and the opening tip. You are listening to Creighton University women's basketball on 1180, Zone 2, The Deuce.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Oh, yes. Chances are, when you get a paycheck, here, you'll learn how to make a real difference in the world. Have the resources to start a career you're passionate about. Make great strides in research that's changing lives. You'll be able to do more, build more, succeed more. That's why you'd come to Creighton. You're more than just a student. This is more than just an education.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous
A drive to let go.
o'er the ramparts we walked would so gallantly stream,
Brought to you by the
and the rockets red bombs first seen gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, Santa, Santa, and the home of the
Included here at the Sokol Arena. Right before we get the starting lineups, and Rob, we're going to give those to the folks at home right now.
Yeah, KU comes in with an 8-3 record on the season. Again, just one true road game on the year, and that was a loss. So they're 8-1 at home, 0-2 away from the confines of Allen Fieldhouse. That includes a neutral site loss. Asia Boyd back in the starting lineup. She has not been in the starting lineup since the third game of the year, but her minutes had been up over the last several games, so she does make the return to the starting lineup. She's the third leading scorer on this team, so no surprise to see her in there. The 6'1" senior from Detroit, Michigan, 10 points and 3.5 rebounds per game for her. Jada Brown, a starter. She started every game, but she's only scored 28 points all year. 6' sophomore forward from Las Vegas, 2.5 points, third on the team with 4 rebounds per game. Chelsea Gardner, you'll hear that name a lot tonight. The 6'3" senior, all Big 12 player from DeSoto, Texas, averaging 17.5 points and nearly 8 rebounds per game for her. Jayla Cheadle, the 6' freshman guard, starting her 9th straight game after coming off the bench 3 times to start the year. She's a 6' freshman from Columbia, Missouri, 7 points per game and 3.5 rebounds per game for her. And then Natalie Knight, 95th consecutive start for her in Kansas Jayhawk uniform. 5'7" senior guard from Olathe, Kansas, 12 points and 5.5 rebounds for her. The Jayhawks being coached by Bonnie Henriksen in her 11th season at KU. She also spent 7 years at Virginia Tech before coming over to Lawrence, Kansas for the Blue Jays. The same lineup that they started in the last game for the Jays. MC McGrory, the 5'8" sophomore from Edina, Minnesota, 8.5 points, 4 rebounds per game for her. She scored better than 10 points 5 times this year. Sydney Lamberty, 3 consecutive Big East Freshman of the Week honors. See if she can try to do it again. 17 points against Drake, followed that up with 20 points against UNO in her last outing. She made 8 of 9 field goals, including all 3 of her three-pointers, ranks 3rd in the nation in assist to turnover ratio. Marissa Janning, the Big East Player of the Year last year, preseason Big East Player of the Year, a Naismith Trophy Watch player, leading the team in scoring and assists now on the season. 16 points, 4.5 rebounds for the 5'8" junior from Watertown, Minnesota. Alexis Akinotico, the 5'11" senior from Bellevue, averaging 12.5 points and high 5.3 rebounds per game. She has scored in double figures the last 5 times out, averaging better than 16 points per game in that span. And then Brianna Rollerson back in the starting line for her 6th start of the year, her 2nd straight. The sophomore, redshirt sophomore, 6-footer from Omaha Central, 6.5 points, 4.5 rebounds for Bree. She had a good stat line against UNO, 6 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists in 22 minutes. Jim Flannery in his 13th season with the Jays, looking to snap his 11-game losing streak against Kansas. He is 2-11 against the Jayhawks. Jays looking for their first win over the Jayhawks since back in the Civic Auditorium on December 21st, 2004, just over exactly a decade ago.
A last-minute change here. It was posted that Asia Boyd was going to start, but then when they introduced the teams, it was Lauren Aldridge, the freshman, who's going to start. So we'll probably see plenty of Asia Boyd, but she is not in the starting lineup, as had been indicated by our stat monitor. So we'll see the freshman Aldridge out there, the 5'7" player out of Marshfield, Missouri.
And Aldridge has started every game this year, so that's not a surprise to see her in the starting lineup. She leads this team with 48 assists. She's been a Big 12 Freshman of the Week, 7 points, 2 rebounds per game for her.
The officials, Susan Block, Eric Groot, and Tim Daly. As we get this one underway, as Rollerson and Gardner will tip it up, and the Jayhawks come away with the tip, as bringing it up will be Aldridge. We indicated the freshman from Marshfield, Missouri. Brown swings the ball. Aldridge will take a long three, no good, and rebounded by Kenotico.
Aldridge, not one of the better three-point shooters on this team. We mentioned it. They're in the top 10 in the country in three-point percentage, as are the Jays.
So with the ball is McCrory. We'll see what some of those scripted plays may turn out to be. McCrory trying to spin down low. McCrory stops baseline, gets it blocked out of bounds, gets the ball back. 7 on the shot clock, ball knocked out of bounds. Still will be Jay basketball, but they'll only have 5 seconds here. Looking to the bench is Sydney Lamberty, who will trigger the ball in. Actually, now they're going to switch, and Janning will inbound. So look for a quick throw in and maybe get it right back to Marissa. They get it to Kenotico, and they're going to get a walking violation. So the Jays kind of start off like they did Saturday. Turnover, no shot.
Well, they did get the shot that got blocked at least, but had an opportunity for an offensive rebound and could not get it to go. So the Jays come away, however, with the turnover.
So bringing it up will be Aldridge. She is picked up by Janning. Aldridge still on the dribble out near the midcourt line. Finally gets in the hands of Cheadle. Jays, as always, employing that man-to-man defense. Skip pass, they try to skip pass, and Lamberty steps right in front of it and steals it. Long lead pass, Janning tries to drive by Aldridge to go back to McCrory. 3 on the way, bang! MC McCrory.
Yeah, lost assignment there by KU. Flan told us they're not going to try to score in the paint a lot this game, and KU was collapsed on the paint, left MC wide open for that three-pointer.
Give up near side tonight. Brown starts to drive through the lane, back to Aldridge. Aldridge looking low. They trying to get it to Gardner. Cheating in as a Kenotico. They get it down low, put up, and missed on the layup by Brown. They get the ball back, blocked, and Janning comes away with it. So the Jays get the block after the missed layup by KU. They go to Rollerson, puts it up, misses it. As she had given a good head fake, but just left it hanging on the rim.
Yeah, didn't use the backboard. Got to use the glass in that situation.
Brown tries her, actually gives it up. Gardner gets the roll and give that assist tonight.
Yeah, nice soft touch there by Gardner. Got rid of it extra quick there before the Jays could get their defensive pressure set up.
So a couple of easy shots missed by both teams. They find Janning, 3 on the way, misses off the iron, and brought down out of there by Brown. That one almost stolen by Lamberty, and it is stolen by the freshman. Gives it up to Janning. Stepping in, McCrory tries to drive through the lane, left hand layup, no good. Rollerson gets the rebound, puts it back up. This time she converts.
Nice job by the Jays, really crashing the glass early on here. A couple of offensive rebounds already, and that gives them some second chance points.
5-2 early on here. Aldridge, top of the key tonight. Knight trying to work away from Lamberty. Brown, 18-footer on the way, no good. Rebounded by Gardner, however, and ball on the floor, and we've got a tie-up. And Bree Rollerson tied up Gardner, and that'll get the Jays the ball.
And you can see Brown took that initial shot. Kansas got the offensive rebound, but Brown, again, I talked about it. She has started every game this year. She averages almost 20 minutes a game. She's only scored 28 points in 11 games. If you remember what Danae Moore did for the Blue Jays, I think she's a similar type player, not offensive-oriented, but she's strong enough, important enough to this team to keep her on the floor.
Janning with the basketball, stops, 16-footer, no good. Too hard, pulled down by Gardner. Janning had a good look on that one, just couldn't knock it down. So Marissa just her first couple of shots. Aldridge, top of the key. Gardner puts up one from 16, no good. Rebounded Rollerson. Outlet pass finds Janning. Janning gonna try to go by Aldridge, swings it back out. Again, Otico, 15-footer, too hard, and rebounded again by Gardner.
Well, that's where that three-pointer from Alexis has really helped her. They thought she was going to take that shot so hard, she was able to pump fake, step in, and get an easier look.
Down low, Gardner puts it up, misses the layup, and again Otico with a rebound.
A lot of whistles being held tonight, a little bit of contact on both ends, but they're letting them play.
McCrory gives it up to Ken Otico. Lexi finds Lamberty. Lamberty looking for the screen, and we're going to get a push off, and that's going to be on Aldridge. First foul of the game goes against KU as the Jays will get 3 new players into the game.
Yeah, 3:99 off the clock, and that's the first foul in the ball game. There could have been merited a couple other situations where the foul could have been called, but the Jays do get Bailey Norby in, the freshman, along with her classmate, the 5'6" freshman guard Jade Owens from Chicago, and Lauren Works, the sophomore from Lincoln, checks in.
They join Lamberty and Janning on the floor. Janning trying to work against Brown, has to dish back to Owens. Janning starts to drive, puts it up, nice move, but again misses that one in tight. Trying to avoid the block by Gardner, she did that, but still couldn't get it to go. Down low, Gardner against Norby, and we're going to get a foul this time on the Jays as Bailey Norby is going to get whistled for the foul underneath. Actually, that's going to go.
Works collapsed on there, tried to double team her, and she got her arm.
So that's going to get us to our first media timeout, 15:34. A lot of action, not a lot of points. Jays on top, 5-2. We'll pause for 60 seconds. You're listening to Creighton University women's basketball on 1180 Zone 2 The Deuce.
Camping World of Omaha is your one-stop shop for everything RV. Shop from the top manufacturers, the best floor plans, and the most competitive prices in the Omaha area. Travel trailers starting at only $99 per month. Plus, buy an RV from Camping World and receive access to the Good Syndicate loyalty program, offering incentives valued at over $2,000. Don't miss out on the incredible deals at Camping World, located just east of Exit 1B on I-29 in Council Bluffs. Also, visit the Homestead West Operator dock fees. See the details and first winners.
Subway big hot strap. Subway big hot strap. No, strap meat. Strap meat. Hey, get right here. Strap meat. No, strap meat. Look, it's the Subway big hot strap meat. Want to split it? No, wait for that. Get your own Subway big hot pastrami milk. A monumental flavor loaded with dry rub and crusted beef and melty cheese. Enjoy yours with mustard and pickles. Subway, eat fresh.
We got 15:34 left in the first half. Jays on top 5-2, and if KU does have a weakness, they turn the ball over 18 times a game. They already have 3 turnovers.
Yeah, those first 2 turnovers resulted in the Blue Jays 5 points so far. So because of those steals from Sydney Lamberty, the Jays were able to capitalize. 3-pointer from MC McGrory, and Brianna Rollerson was able to convert as well for the Jays. You said it perfectly, going to break. It's been up and down. There's been a lot of action. There's been a lot of movement, but neither team shooting particularly well. Shooting very poorly, actually. 1 of 7 for Kansas, and the Jays not much better. Just 2 out of 9, and Marissa Janning continuing to struggle from inside the arc, shooting. She's 0 for 3 tonight, missing 2 of her 2-pointers, and she is a phenomenal outside shooter this year, but she's shooting worse inside the arc than she is outside of the arc.
Well, Asia Boyd does make her way into the lineup as she will replace Brown. So Boyd matched up with Lamberty as they get the ball back out to Aldridge. She'll work against Jade Owen. Knight trying again. to get Gardner, and they find her all alone as Norby lost her.
Yeah, Norby tried to stick with the ball at first and the roll. She did not recover in time to get back and defend that very well.
So KU back to within one. Owen almost lost the basketball. Gets it in the hands of Lamberty. Norby. They get it to Jade Owen. Back to Janning. Janning working against Boyd. And we're going to get a foul on Boyd reaching in. It'll be the second team foul on KU, just the first on Boyd.
And a very touch foul. I mean, that's something they've tried to emphasize over the last few years, the hand check, and she barely drew contact there, but it was enough to get the whistle.
Jays inbound, get it to Jade Owen. That one knocked out of bounds, still be Jays' ball. Jays will be looking, obviously, Lamberty and Janning, the key scorers with this lineup out there. Norby and Owens not particularly looked to as scoring threats. And Lauren Work could be as she gets the ball. Gets it up to Janning. Janning finally gets the ball out of her hands to Works. Works trying to drive down on the lane. That one kicked, so that'll reset the clock to 15. Jays will pick up 5 extra seconds as it had ticked down to 10.
And again, the Jays looking a little bit lost on offense. Credit the KU defense. They're really playing tight D out on Marissa Janning, so she hasn't had an open look yet. We'll see Terrielle Bradley, another freshman for KU, check in for the first time. She's a 5'10 guard from Arlington, Texas.
As we indicated, they're knowing the personnel, and Janning dishes back out. They were trying to get it to Lamberty. They swing it to Works. Long three on the way. No good. Lamberty, offensive rebound for the freshman. They give it back to Lamberty. She takes the three. In and out. No good.
Well, Lamberty's been all over the place. Offensive rebounds, some steals already. Just need to get in the scoring column now.
Gardner down low, and we're going to get a push in the back, so Norby is going to pick up 2 quick fouls here.
Well, that's her first. That first one went against Lauren Works. Norby was matched up there, but so Norby picks up her first. Works also with a foul.
McCrory back in. Janning will take a breather here as she's not been able to dent the score sheet as of yet. Knight does get it into Bradley. Swing it top of the key to Knight. Knight trying to get in the Gardner. Jays have kind of prevented that now. They get it down low to her, and we're going to get a walk. So they're frustrating Gardner a little bit.
Well, yeah, credit Norby. Norby's got some size, the 6'2" freshman, able to body up against her, and like you said, the frustration is there. Kansas, more than anybody else out of their post players, gets away with that spin move travel more than any other team, but they didn't get away with it that time.
Taylor Johnson, she replaces Lamberty. So the Jays will have to find some scoring from other places here. Lauren Works will try to do it. No good on the long three, and pulled down out of there by Cheadle. Long lead pass. Knight almost slipped. Covers her foot. Where they go again, down low post. Gardner puts it up. Yes. So Gardner finally gets one to go, a little bit off balance. Fell down after taking the shot, and KU with the lead.
Yeah, Gardner already with 5 attempts in this ball game. They're feeding her, and they will continue to feed her throughout this game.
McCrory gives it up to Lauren Works. Back to Johnson. They give it up to Owen. Jays, and we're going to get a foul underneath as they think they were holding Bailey Norby. Cheadle had a hand on Norby down underneath.
Terrielle Bradley actually picking up that foul. She had been switched off and got matched up there with the bigger Norby, and Norby gets a hand as she comes out, and Rollerton and Kinotico post player, starting post for the Jays, check back in.
Gardner will take her first breather for KU as coming in as Bunny Williams for her first appearance.
Yeah, Bunny Williams averages about 12 minutes a game, but it's enough. She's got 35 rebounds on the year, 5 points.
Johnson three, yes, Taylor Johnson knocks down the three.
Johnson with Bradley's hand up in her face, and TJ knocking it down.
So the Jays regain the lead at 8-6. Aldridge working against Jade Owen. Aldridge trying to work around the screen by Williams. They give it up to Asia Boyd. Boyd trying to drive through the lane. Dish back out. Bradley will drive. Puts it up off the glass. Yes, and she is fouled.
Now the Jays made 2 mistakes on that play. They let her get all the way to the basket, let Bradley penetrate and get all the way to the basket, didn't stop the ball, and then compound that mistake by fouling her, and it was a tap foul too. If you're going to foul and try to make up for your mistake, you got to foul hard enough to prevent that basket from going in.
And that was Jade Owen on the foul as she'll come out and Janning back in, and the three-point play completed, and KU retakes the lead on an old-fashioned three after the Jays had taken the lead on Taylor Johnson's three. McCrory stops, 17-footer, too hard off the glass or off the iron, and that ball knocked out of bounds. Will be Jayhawk basketball at the 12:24 mark of this first half.
Now Jayhawks starting to find their shooting touch. They've made their last 3 shots after starting 1 for 7. They're up to 40% from the field now.
Aldridge goes low post to Williams. They'll go back to Boyd. Boyd behind the back dribble. Has to dish back out again, heading to it. And we're going to get a foul on Taylor Johnson as she was trying to cut off Bradley, heading to the basket once again. Boyd very good at creating and dishing.
Yeah, Boyd, again, coming off the bench. She started the first 3 games of the year, but her minutes have actually gone up since she's come off the bench. So even though she wasn't out there to start the game, she'll probably be out there to end the game, and that's what's more important.
Aldridge gives it up to Bradley. Bradley again looking on the low post, trying to find Williams. Boyd's going to try to take it. Tries to go up and under, and that one partially blocked, it looked like. Gets it back, blocked by Rollerson, and we're going to get a foul on Bree. Well, no, they're going to call it on Akino Tico.
Yeah, I thought it could have gone either way. There was some contact earlier in that possession, and then they called that contact, and that was, I think, the least contact of the entire possession. However, it does get a foul, and we'll shoot free throws when we come back.
Yeah, we have another media timeout on the floor. 11:56 left first half. KU with a slim 9-8 lead. We'll pause this 60-second timeout. You're listening to Creighton University women's basketball on 1180 Zone 2, The Deuce.
Since opening our doors 20 years ago, we have proudly backed the Blue Jays, enjoying a mutual friendship and passion for college sports. Come join us at one of our 3 locations after the game to celebrate the wins, mourn the losses, and enjoy the party rooms that can accommodate up to 100 fans. Let the fiesta begin, and may the Blue Jays have the best season yet. Fernandez loves you. Lamar Outdoor is a proud supporter of the Creighton.
Back once again at the Sokol Arena. Jays right now trailing 9-8, and not bad considering the Jays are only 3 out of 14 from the field.
Yeah, it's been a slow start to say the least. Thankfully, Kansas also started out slowly before they've started to pick up the pace recently. The Jays getting out rebounded early on too, though. The Jays, that's going to be a hard thing for them to stay on top of in this game with Kansas' size and athleticism in the post.
So the Jays will come out after the timeout with their, well, not quite their original starting lineup. Sydney Lamberty still on the bench. Taylor Johnson will stay out there, joining Rollerson, Akino Tico, Janning, and McCrory. And it will be free throws to be shot here by Asia Boyd.
Boyd just a 63% shooter on the season. She's made 15 out of 24 attempts.
She is a lefty out of Detroit. Free throw up and gets the roll. Gives KU actually their largest lead. It is 2.
Boyd on the season comes into this game second on the team with 17 three-pointers made.
And that one missed, and it will be knocked out of bounds by KU. Be Jay's ball. So 10-8 KU here, just under 12 minutes remaining first half. McCrory into the front court. McCrory stops. 12-footer on the way. That one too hard off the iron. And ball rebounded by Rollerson. Janning faked the 3, takes it in the paint, puts it up right hand, no good. Rollerson puts it up, no good. And the Jays have had all sorts of opportunities, cannot get the ball to go in the basket.
Jays have made just one of their last 10 shots now with those several misses in a row.
So Aldridge with the basketball now, picked up by Johnson. High post, Gardner underneath. Cheadle blocked by Akinotiko and saved by McCrory.
Alexis got lost on defense. She recovered in time to find the ball and block it, but she was thankfully long enough to reach that and recover.
Back to Akinotiko. They find Channing. Channing thought about the shot, stops, 12-footer, no good, but she is fouled. And that foul, I think, is going to be on Gardner.
Yeah, somehow Gardner got matched up, or was the last person in front of Janning. Gardner's first foul, team's fourth foul for Kansas. The Jays with 5 fouls so far. No player on the floor has more than 1 foul. We'll see Marissa Janning at the free throw line, where she's up to 70% on the season.
And hits her first, and now a chance to tie the ball game as Lamberty brings the Jays lineup back to intact for what their starting lineup was. Channing started off slowly from the free throw line, but that average starting to climb as she hits her second and ties the ball game at 10.
That gives the Jays a chance to set up the pressure here. See if they stay in it long enough to cause another turnover.
Aldridge into the front court. Still on the dribble. Bradley, a long three, no good. Rebounded by Janning. Janning starting to dribble out of trouble. Weaves her way into the front court. Gives it up to Lamberty. Lamberty starting to drive and a reach-in foul on Asia Boyd.
It's her second. Same type of foul where she just didn't get in front of her player enough and just enough contact. Really not a very aggressive contact, but enough contact to get the whistle blown against her.
That's the 15th foul, both teams with 5, and so that'll get Boyd a seat on the bench with those 2 fouls.
A couple of starters, Jada Brown and Natalie Knight, checking back in for KU.
Bradley also checking out for the Jayhawks. So a chance for the Jays take the lead here. Lamberty starting to drive. Lamberty takes the 15-footer. Yes! Sydney Lamberty. That's a 3.
Yeah, she was back far enough. She stepped back because the Jays got another switch there and had Gardner matched up with the Blue Jay 3-point shooter.
So Sydney Lamberty continues her hot shooting, her first bucket of the game, but she's played a good floor game already with a couple of steals. They give the ball. Driving to the basket, Brown loses it, but gets the ball back out to Aldridge. Driving to the basket, Aldridge blocked and taken away by the Jays. And that one almost knocked away, but will be Jays' ball as touched last by Cheadle.
Jays again having a few more blocks than normal lately. Already with 3 blocked shots here in the first half. Again, Alexis Akinotiko had 4 blocked shots alone to tie her career high against UNO the last time out.
Sydney Lamberty gives it up to Rollerson down low. Nice pass, and she makes the shot with her left hand. Give the assist to Lamberty.
And a great finish there by Bree. She had Natalie Knight, a 5'7" player, trying to draw the charge in front of her, and Bree was athletic enough to move around her and finish with the offhand.
Jays with their largest lead. They're up by 5. Knight trying to work around the screen by Gardner. They'll go back to Brown. They're going to let Brown shoot. She chooses not to. Aldridge. They'll go down to Gardner. Double team. Tries to force it up, and there's a walk. Good double team coming from the Jays.
The Jays have executed the game plan that Flan drew up for us, or drew up for them, and told us about in the pregame, is that they are going to collapse as often as they can, especially with Brown out there. She's not a threat offensively, so the Jays can afford to double team Gardner a little bit more.
Lamberty all the way to the bucket, misses that one with the left-hand scoop. Cheadle with a rebound, coming the other way is Aldridge. Aldridge again trying to look low. They haven't been able to. Brown's going to take that 16-footer, misses, and Akinotiko with yet another rebound.
And again, Brown's shot is broken.
Lamberty, and the Jays will let her have that all day long. They're not. Janning a long 3, no good off the iron.
Janning's had some bad misses tonight. Usually you don't see her miss by as much as she's missed. Both 3-pointers she's attempted have been short off the iron, and that one was right and short.
Aldridge, they swing it to Cheadle. Cheadle isolated left side, will try to go baseline, loses the ball out of bounds, travels before she lost the ball out of bounds.
6th turnover now.
Yeah, and that's going to get some substitutions back into the game. As for the first time, Kylie Brown, she'll replace Rollerson. And Works is going to replace McCrory. So the Jays getting their lineups. And Jay's going very deep here. It's kind of good. They're going to use Brown out there for a little bit, give their post players who have done a great job here tonight a little bit of a breather.
Well, Brown's got the size to match up as well. 6'3", a bigger body.
They give it up to Janning. They can get Janning started. Puts it up, and there's Dittmer started. She faked the pass and went with a scoop. Bonnie Henriksen is going to call a timeout here. And that's going to get us to the media timeout. 7:50 left first half. Jays enjoying a 7-point lead. We'll step aside for 60 seconds. You are listening to Creighton University women's basketball on 1180, Zone 2, The Deuce.
Some days, it's tough to get started. Subway big pastrami. Subway big pastrami. No, pastrami. Pastrami. What? Hey, get back here. Pastrami. No, pastrami. It's the Subway big pastrami. Husband. Get your own Subway big pastrami. No, from monument to flavor. Loaded with dry rub, roasted bread, melty cheese. Enjoy yours with mustard and pickles. Subway, eat fresh.
Off a 9-0 run over the last 3 minutes, the Jays have been able to take a 7-point lead.
Yeah, Kansas has missed their last 5 shots from the field. They haven't scored a field goal in almost 5 minutes now, so that's helped that 9-0 run by the Jays. The Jays still shooting less than 30% from the field, but they are getting back in it. They've hit a couple of three-pointers, hit some free throws, and since our last timeout, since we came back from break last time, the Jays have out-rebounded Kansas by 5 just in the last 4 minutes alone to get back in even on the glass, including 5 offensive rebounds for the Jays. Brianna Rollerson with 3 offensive boards herself.
And 3 blocks by the post players, 2 by Rollerson, 1 by Akinotico. So you'd think it would be the Jays who'd be peering going down in the paint. KU's got to be aware of the Jays post players.
Well, those are the Jays' undersized post players, too. We talked about the freshmen coming off the bench in Norby, 6'2", Brown, 6'3". Those are the bigger post players for the Jays. Obviously, the starting post players are a little more experienced for the Blue Jays, but they're undersized.
So it will be KU ball trying to trigger it in. They're having problems, and boy, they barely got it in on maybe the count of 4.5.
4.9 maybe?
Yeah. So it will be Aldridge bringing it up into the forecourt on the dribble. Aldridge, well-touted freshman, appears to dribble the ball probably a little too much. Gardner down low and got inside position on the freshman Brown and had an easy bucket.
That was tough. She got pushed a little bit underneath the rim, underneath the glass as well, and still finished.
Janning takes the ball to the basket, and they say off of Janning. Looked like he might have gotten fouled.
Yeah, that was that definitely wasn't a block. It definitely went off of Marissa, but you're right. For her to lose possession by that much, she definitely looked like she was hacked. But again, fouls haven't been called that often tonight, just 5 for each side.
Bradley with the basketball, picked up by Lauren Works, who's back into the ball game. Aldridge going to try to go around the screen. Aldridge goes down low, ball knocked away. Cheadle comes up with it, and she is fouled.
Jays post players would have done well to stay on their feet there. They had the size as Kylie Brown gets whistled for the foul. Brown and Alexis Akinotico were both there collapsing on Cheadle, but Cheadle was able to draw the foul as she gets up to the free throw line.
Cheadle, not a particularly great free throw shooter, but does get the friendly roll on that one as Rollerson checked back in for Brown.
And Flan talked about that, going deep in the front court, rotating them constantly in and out to try to keep them as fresh as possible, because you know that Gardner is going to be out there more often than not to see if the Jays can wear her down.
So Cheadle does make them both, however, only a 58% free throw shooter, but draws KU back to within 3. Lamberty stops, 12-footer, yes! Lamberty coming off the screen, just turned and shot.
And again, that was against Gardner. The Jays are doing a great job of recognizing when they get the matchups that they want off of those screens, and they've been able to shoot over Gardner, even though she's the second leading shot blocker in Kansas history.
5 points for Lamberty. Top of the key to Cheadle. Cheadle trying to work through, puts up a 17-footer, no good. Rebounded out of there finally, grabbed by Lauren Works. The diminutive Works somehow came up with a loose ball. Janning, 15-footer, yes! Janning hits the shot and back to a 7-point lead are the Jays.
Well, you won't believe who she shot that against again.
Gardner.
Gardner, again, the Jays. Fantastic movement away from the ball on offense.
Bradley with the basketball. Calling out a set play that they want to run. Bradley gets the ball in the hands of Knight. Knight wanting to drive through the paint. Finds a wide open Cheadle in the corner, and we're going to get a foul against
That's Alexis
Kenatico, I guess.
picking up her second. The whistles have been peculiar tonight. They've let a lot of contact go, and then they've called a lot of interesting fouls there. That one looked like Cheadle was asking for the foul, kicking the leg out or trying to draw the contact, and she had not only asked for it, she got it. So unfortunately, that's Alexis's second foul so far. Alex hasn't scored tonight, but she does have 5 rebounds and a couple of blocked shots.
Yeah, it was way after the shot was released. In fact, the whistle didn't blow until after the ball had careened off the iron. Cheadle, who came in, we talked about it, just a 58% free throw shooter, hit 4 in a row from the charity stripe as McCrory will check back in for Alexis at the 5:47 mark.
Cheadle, a freshman from Columbia, Missouri, Rockbridge High School, led them to 3 straight state titles, along with her twin sister, who actually plays for the KU volleyball team.
That final one rattles out, so the Jays maintain their 5-point lead. Janning thought about the 3, stops, puts it up, no good, in and out. Rollerson fighting for it. What a play by Bree Rollerson. They find Lamberty wide open, no good. Rollerson taps it again, and I think a foul over the back. Bree Rollerson working hard underneath.
Well, and Bree's done a great job of not trying to grab the rebound necessarily on either of those, but rather just trying to tip it, knowing she can't grab it because she doesn't have the positioning. But her tips have led to 2 extra possessions for the Jays, and Gardner now with 2 fouls.
McCrory, a 3 on the way, no good. Rebound on the floor, Lauren Works fighting for it. We got a tie-up. It will be KU ball, but give Lauren Works credit. She's down on the floor with Gardner fighting for the ball.
I think Lauren Works would have the most floor burns on the team if they keep track of that, and she actually wears those longer socks underneath her regular socks to prevent from picking up those extra floor burns.
Gardner will take a seat on the bench as Williams will come into the ball game. Nearing the 5-minute mark of the first half, Jays on top, 21-16. Aldridge with the basketball, still on the dribble. Trying to drive in as Cheadle almost walked. Aldridge trying to drive to the basket. Gets caught down low, has to give it up. Bradley, and we're going to get another foul. Now the fouls who they let go early are getting called a little bit closer here, and that's going to be a 1-and-1 as Jade Owens will check in for Lauren Works. That foul, I believe, was on Works.
Yeah, and I had a hard time seeing where that foul was. I thought it was going to be an offensive foul. A moving screen is what caused that contact. However, it doesn't go that way, and it is a 1-and-1, and it sends Terrielle Bradley, a 5'10 freshman, to the line for 1-and-1.
And Bradley hits her first. She also not a particularly great free throw shooter, just 56%, but they've shot well. They're 8 out of 10 from the free throw line. Actually 7 out of 9, now 8 out of 10.
Well, and they're lucky they're shooting so well fortunate that they're shooting so well from the free throw line, because their offense hasn't gotten going yet, still shooting less than 30% from the field.
So the Jays lead, cut to 3. They go down low. Rollerson gets blocked, puts it back up, and we're going to get a tie-up. Be Jays ball this time on the alternating possession.
I disagree with that. That was a late whistle, too. Bree got the shot off. It was blocked. She got it back in her hand when she was going up for the shot. Then they called the jump ball. It was a delayed reaction.
So McCrory does get it into Lamberty. Lamberty going to take it all the way to the basket, and she is fouled.
Another late whistle. If I was Kansas, I'd be upset about that whistle.
That foul is going to be called on Cheadle.
And that'll get Lamberty to the free throw line for the first time tonight. Lamberty, the freshman, 67% at the line on the year.
Trying to add to her 5-point total and lengthen the Jays' lead here, and that one a little hard off the back of the iron.
So the Jays, with that miss, 2 of 3 at the line, and we talked about KU, 8 out of 10 to stay within reach of the Jays.
Sid, the second one, good. Give her 6 points, give the Jays a 4-point lead. Jays with some heavy-duty pressure in the backcourt, finally get it in tonight. She'll be bringing the ball up. Picked up by Lamberty. Trying to cut through the paint. Dish back out. They find Aldridge, long three, yes. Aldridge is only a 31% three-point shooter. Missed the first shot of the game, but hit that one.
Really good ball movement by Kansas there. They prevented the Jays from recovering off of some screens and left themselves a wide open shot.
Janney trying to drive by Cheadle, gives it up to McGrory. Janney working out. Gets double teamed, goes down to Rollerson. Bree, good movement, misses, gets her own rebound, puts it up. Yes,
there you go.
And she is fouled.
Bree is working hard. Give her 8 rebounds now and 6 points, 8 rebounds in the first half.
And that'll get us to our final media timeout of the first half. As when we come back, Bree Rollerson will be shooting to complete a 3-point play. Jays on top by 3. We'll take this 60-second timeout. You are listening to Creighton University women's basketball on 1180 Zone 2 The Deuce.
Vintage Financial Group is a local financial services company committed to helping individuals, families, and businesses achieve financial success. At Vintage Financial Group, we create plans as unique as each individual's needs. Contact Vintage Financial Group and their advisors, Brad Burwell, Kristen Ricketts, Mindy Helfrich, or Pat Ricketts at 402-932-7233 or vintagefinancialgroup.com.
Insurance issued by Principal Life Insurance Company. Securities offered through Creighton Financial Services Corporation. 800-247-1123. SIPC. Principal Life Insurance Company. Vintage Financial Group is not an affiliate or any member of the Principal Financial Group.
Why earn your degree from Creighton University? Chances are you want to do more than get coaching. Here, you'll learn how to make a real difference in your world. Have the resources to start a career you're passionate about. Make real strides in research that's changing lives. You'll be able to do more, build more, succeed more. That's why you come to Creighton. You're more than just a student. This is more than just an education. Go to
Jays on top 24-21, and I'll tell you what, if you had to pick right now through the first 16 minutes, the best post player on the floor, it would not be Gardner for KU. It'd be Bree Rollerson.
And Gardner's having a good game and a typical game for her. 8 points, 5 rebounds. The key for the Jays is Gardner with 2 fouls already. Yeah, Brianna Rollerson, I mentioned it, working hard because 7 of her 8 boards so far tonight have been on the offensive end. Now she's got a couple of her own misses to help those stats, but still 7 offensive rebounds already. A game high 8 rebounds. She has 6 points, trying to get 7 here, the conventional 3-point style. Also 2 blocks and 1 steal, and she's only played 12 minutes in this ballgame so far. So Bree really making an impact tonight for the Blue Jays.
Taylor Johnson will return to the lineup as McCrory will take a bit of a breather, and Bree will have a chance to complete this 3-point play. On the season, Bree is 68% free throw shooter. Free throw up, off the iron, no good. So Jays not quite as good from the free throw line as KU tonight, just 3 out of 5. Cheadle with the basketball, starts a drive, dish back out to Aldridge. Aldridge back and back out on the dribble, picked up by Owen. Now Bradley will drive through the paint, puts it up, no good. Another whistle.
Yeah, Bree with the reach in there. Probably would have been wise to stay away from that as Brianna Rollerson picks up her first foul of the ball game.
And that'll send Bradley back to the free throw line where she's already been tonight 3 times. Perfect 3 out of 3.
56% free throw shooter on the year, upping that average tonight.
Yeah, the freshman out of Arlington, Texas, Terriel Bradley. And gets the roll this time and gets KU back to within 1.
KU 10 of 12 from the free throw line, just 6 of 18 from the field.
Lamberty trying to drive, stops, puts it up.
Wow.
It looked like she got fouled on that one badly.
Wow, all of the whistles tonight, that one was missed. Unbelievable.
You don't miss that badly unless something altered it and it wasn't blocked. Knight trying to work around the screen from Williams. Knight almost walked for the ball. Williams back out to Cheadle. Cheadle down low, gives it up to Williams, knocked away by Janning. Still be KU ball, but with just 3 on the shot clock. 2:59 left in the first half. Jays holding on to a 1-point lead. They've led by as many as 7. Knight finds herself wide open from 16, no good. Janning finally comes out of there with a loose ball. Janning stops, gives it up to Lamberty. To Janning, thought about the 3, trying to drive. Lamberty 3 on the way, short off the front of the iron. Pulled down out of there by Knight. Lead pass Aldridge. Aldridge trying to work the break, gives it up to Bradley from 3, yes. And the Jays going to call a timeout there as Bradley, it's kind of been a thorn in the side. She has 10 points for the Jayhawks here.
Yeah, 5 of those at the free throw line, so converting when she's had the opportunity. Kansas started out, missed their first 2 3-pointers, have nailed the last 2 that they have attempted. Again, they rank 9th in the NCAA in 3-point percentage. The Blue Jays rank 4th on the season in the NCAA in 3-point percentage, shooting better than 40% from beyond the arc. However, tonight, just 3 out of 11 are the Blue Jays from long range. Neither team still shooting very well. Kansas has upped their average or their shooting percentage to 33%. The Jays still below 30%. They were lucky to have the lead before losing it on that 3-point attempt. Now the Jays down to 26-24.
So McCrory back into the ball game, as is Rollerson. As sitting down will be Jade Owen. That one knocked away. Still be Jays basketball here.
Jays still with just 1 turnover in this ball game. Kansas with 6. Jays have really taken advantage of those turnovers, especially early on, to build that early lead.
Jays just can't find a hot shooter to this point. They've had some decent looks. McCrory starts to drive, puts it up, it's fouled. And that's what MC was trying to do.
Terriel Bradley with the whistle against her there. That's her second now. So the players that have done the most damage offensively for KU, both with a pair of fouls now. Bradley with 2, Gardner with 2. Gardner's been on the bench for a while, but Kansas has been able to resurge and take the lead with her on the bench.
McCrory gets one to bounce in. She is the best free throw shooter on the Jays team.
Yeah, 84%, 21 of 25 coming into tonight.
So MC a chance to tie it right here as Bradley checks out for the Jayhawks. We indicated Brown back in. Free throw up and perfect. Tie ball game at 26. 2:15 left first half. Jays again with full court pressure. Finally get it into Aldridge. Aldridge will bring it up on the dribble now in the forecourt. Aldridge finally finds Knight trying to work around the screen from Williams. Takes it all the way down, blocked by Rollerson. Still be KU ball, but Bree Rollerson with yet another block.
That's her 3rd blocked shot here in the first half. We'll see Tessa Leadham come off the bench for the first time for the Blue Jays, the 5'11 junior guard from Dubuque, Iowa, averaging about 8 minutes per game, and she checks in, replaces Bree Rollerson. So the Jays going small here, no post player out there.
Taylor Johnson will wind up guarding Williams, who is not as big an offensive threat as Gardner, so really just staying in front of her. That one taken all the way to the basket, no good, and we're going to get another foul on the Jays. This time, I think Taylor.
Yeah, it looks like
Taylor Johnson.
TJ picking up her second. Johnson, who wears the number 22, want to wish her a happy 22nd birthday today.
Lauren Aldridge, who is their best free throw shooter, puts in the first.
Yeah, Aldridge at now 90% after making that one.
Second one on its way and misses. Well, we changed.
There you go.
There we go.
Talk up the players that shoot poorly and get them to start missing those.
So 1 point lead for the Jayhawks. Lamberty hands off to Janning. Jays hopefully with a chance here. Janning takes it all the way, misses the layup.
Janning has gotten to the basket a lot this year and just not been able to finish. Again, shooting better from three-point range than she is inside the arc because a lot of shots like that just are not going for her this year.
And that one just too hard off the glass. Cheadle walked with the basketball. Jays, good defense. That was Tessa Leadham and Lamberty down there that kind of collapsed on her. And
Cheadle had the ball down by her hip, tried to get it up for the shot, but while she was trying to recover, she took a step because of her momentum.
MC McCrory finds Johnson. Taylor to Lamberty. Lamberty. Brown going to back up against her. Lamberty floats one, and she is fouled.
Wow.
Lamberty, and that one a little touchy on the other side, actually.
No clue where that, I believe it went against Cheadle, but I don't know where she fouled. I mean, that was just a bad shot taken by Sydney Lamberty, and the Jays are going to be rewarded for it. Lamberty back at the line where she's 1 for 2 today. Again,
that was the payback for the one that I think she was fouled on.
There you go. There you go.
Lamberty, free throw up and good. Ties the ball game.
You know, this has the makings, Brad, of a game that's going to be important to make your free throws. It seems like the type of game that's not going to, neither team's going to be able to distance themselves from the other. Kansas shooting 79% at the stripe now. Creighton up to 78% at the line.
So Lamberty knocks them both down, and the freshman right now with 8 points on the evening. Aldridge weaves her way into the front court, finds Knight, wide open three, misses everything, and we're going to get a foul on Janning, and getting a little whistle happy here on both ends.
We didn't have a foul for the first 3 minutes and 59 seconds in this game, and now we have had 20 fouls in the first half here.
So Cheadle will go back to the free throw line where she's been there quite a bit, 4 out of 5 for the freshman.
If the name Cheadle sounds familiar, Don Cheadle, a relative, the actor, a distant relative, they say, but it's spelled the same and obviously pronounced the same, so interesting connection. I mentioned her twin sister plays on the KU volleyball team as well.
Tessa Leadham will check back out. Lauren Works with her 2 fouls back in, and Cheadle hits another.
Cheadle now 6 out of 7 after coming in less than 60% at the stripe.
Give it to Taylor Johnson. Back to Janning. 3 on the way. Short. And rebounded nicely by McCrory. Janning going to drive all the way to the basket. Puts it up. Yes! With the right hand.
Wow, she put her head down and looked determined to say, I'm taking this one off. And like you said, put it down with her right hand, her offhand.
Working around that 26-second shot clock off. So KU probably going to fight. Probably going to hold the ball for the last shot here. Jay's going to try to force the ball. Janning steals the ball, but 3 stolen. And I tell you what, looked like she got knocked down, but no whistle on that one. Knight trying to weave through traffic, throws it almost in the Jays bench, and somehow Cheadle throws one up. And that'll end the first half as KU on a prayer somehow gets one the fall by Cheadle, and they'll go to the locker room on top, 32-30. We're going to pause for 2 minutes. You are listening to Creighton University women's basketball on 1180, Zone 2, The Deuce.
Histories and then show you the money. Creighton Federal Credit Union.
As Fernando celebrates its 20th anniversary, we pledge our continued support for Creighton's Blue Jays. Since opening our doors 20 years ago, we have proudly backed the Blue Jays, enjoying the mutual friendship and passion for college sports. Come join us at one of our 3 locations after the game to celebrate the wins, mourn the losses, and enjoy the camaraderie. We have intimate dining and party rooms that can accommodate up to 100 fans. Let the fiesta begin, and may the Blue Jays have their best season yet. Fernando's loves you.
Doctors Bimbo and Vince Petro provide quality caring dentistry for your whole family in a friendly, relaxed environment where new patients are always welcome. Look no further than Doctors Bimbo and Vince Petro. For more information or to make an appointment, call today 397-4505. Doctors Bimbo and Vince Petro.
basically on a last-second three-point shot by Shayla Cheadle. And you kind of look at the box score, a couple of freshmen for KU, but hadn't been for Cheadle and Terriel Bradley, they'd be in a lot worse shape.
Yeah, both those players. And Cheadle really, before that prayer you mentioned, before she knocked that one down, hadn't hit a field goal, but coming up clutch at the free throw line, 6 of 7 at the stripe. And she also gave Cheadle 5 rebounds as well. The Jays, I mean, they played against their Kansas without their best player for about the last 6 minutes of that half, and they weren't able to capitalize on it. Kansas able to take control, not really take control, but take the lead at least into halftime with Chelsea Gardner on the bench with 2 fouls there.
Yeah, Alexis Akenotico, she set out, I'd say roughly the last 6-7 minutes for the Jays with 2 fouls.
And that was, Jays were able to do that because of the matchups, and they went very small, the smallest I've seen the Jays go this year without having Bree Rollerson or Alexis Akenotico out there on neither of the freshman post players either. They were afforded to be able to do that because of Gardner on the bench as well, but both of those starting post players are going to have to be a little bit more involved. Alexis not in the scoring column, only attempted 1 shot in the first half. Thankfully, her partner up front there, Bree Rollerson, with the dominant first half, 6 points, a season high, 8 rebounds already, and 3 blocked shots as well for Bree in the opening half.
You do have to be happy about a couple of things the Jays are doing. Nobody thought they could stay with KU on the boards. They're tied at 23 there, and the Jays, if they can keep taking care of the basketball like they have, just 1 turnover, and that was early on.
Well, the great thing that the Jays are doing, too, not only you talked about even on the glass, 10 of their 23 rebounds have come on the offensive glass, which have led to 10 second chance opportunities as well. And you talked about taking care of the ball. The Jays, just that 1 turnover early on, 7 turnovers for KU, and have led to 9 points off turnovers for the Jays. So they're going to have to continue to capitalize on that and start knocking down their shots. The only reason they have 10 offensive rebounds is because they've missed so many shots here in the opening half.
And actually, that Jays turnover happened to come on their very first possession of this ball game, so they've been carefree on the court since. We're going to step aside for 90 seconds. When we come back, we'll have all the first half statistics. You're listening to Creighton University women's basketball on 1180 Zone 2, The Deuce.
Camping World of Omaha is your one-stop shop for everything RV. Shop from the top manufacturers, the best floor plans, and the most competitive prices in the Omaha area. Travel trailers starting at only $99 per month. Plus, buy an RV from Camping World and receive access to a Good Semi-Elite loyalty program offering incentives valued at over $2,000. Don't miss out on the incredible deals at Camping World, located just east of Exit 1B on I-29 in Council Bluffs. Payments not inclusive of tax, title, license plate, and dealer dock fees. See dealer for details and for listeners.
Is a proud years we've seen the awards in the metro area. From the storm to a Blue Jay game. These billboards can be placed in highly visible areas throughout the Omaha. For more information, inside this
Subway Big Hot Pastrami. Subway Big Hot Pastrami. No. Pastrami. Pastrami. What? Hey, get back here. Pastrami. No, pastrami. No, it's the Subway Big Hot Pastrami. Plus what?
Get your own Subway Big Hot Pastrami Milk. A monument to flavor, loaded with dry rub, pepper crusted beef, and melty cheese. Enjoy yours from mustard, pickles, Subway, eat fresh.
Back once again at the Silver Arena halftime here. KU on top of the Blue Jays, 32-30. Rob, you've got all the stats.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that 2-point lead for Kansas, how they got there. 33% shooting from the field, 8 of 24. They've hit half of their 3-point attempts, just 3 out of 6 there. 13 of 16 free throws are going to be huge in this ball game if this game remains close, and that's a good percentage to be shooting in the first half, 81% at the line, well above their season average of 69% at the line. We mentioned that the rebounds are even 23 apiece for both sides. Off the bench, Terriel Bradley, the freshman, 5'10 freshman guard, leads this team in scoring, leads KU. She played 10 minutes, scored 10 points, 5 of those at the free throw line where she's perfect. She also hit a pair of field goals, including a three-pointer for those 10 points, the only Kansas Jayhawk in double figures. And then Shayla Cheadle, 9 points, and a team-high 5 rebounds for that freshman for Kansas. 6 out of 7 from the free throw line, and including the prayer at the end of the half there to put Kansas up by 2. She hit a three-pointer after catching an off-balance pass to give her 9 points in the opening half. Chelsea Gardner, the all Big 12 first teamer, 8 points, 5 rebounds, just played 13 minutes though because of those 2 fouls, hit 4 out of 6 field goals, and when she was in, you could tell she's the focal point of this offense, and the Jays are going to have to slow her down in the second half. Lauren Aldridge, another freshman in the starting lineup for KU, 4 points, 2 assists for her. The only other KU player in the scoring column, Asia Boyd, has a free throw to account for her only point. They have 7 assists on their 8 baskets, 7 turnovers, 3 blocked shots for KU in the opening half. The Jays offensively, again trailing 32-30, shot just 28% at the line, or from the field, 10 of 36, just 3 of 12 from three-point range. They entered today ranked 4th in the NCAA in three-point field goal percentage at better than 40% on the season right now, just 25% in the opening half. 7 of 9 from the free throw line for a 78% clip. No Blue Jay in double figures there in the first half. Jays were led by Sydney Lamberty and Marissa Jannings, 8 points each. Janning, however, high volume 8 points, just 3 out of 12 from the field, 0 for 3 from three-point range, and she passed up some threes maybe that she is used to taking and settled for some shots that just haven't been falling for her this year. She's, again, shooting 48% from three-point range and about 30% from inside the arc on the season. Lamberty, 2 of 7 from the field, 1 of 4 from three-point range, and she hit 3 out of 4 free throws for her 8 points. MC McGrory with 5 points and 3 rebounds for the Jays. She's just 1 for 6 from the field. We talked about Bree, 6 points, season high, 8 rebounds already, a season high 3 blocked shots already as well in 14 minutes of the first half, and only 3 points off the bench for the Blue Jays so far. That came in the person of Taylor Johnson. The Jays bench has only attempted 3 shots in this ball game. Lauren Works has missed a pair of three-pointers, as well as TJ knocking down that three-pointer on her 22nd birthday here playing tonight. Jays 3 assists on their 10 baskets. That talks about how their offense hasn't been clicking because they've had some shots they haven't knocked down. Thankfully, they've had those 10 offensive rebounds to account for 10 second chance points. Just 1 turnover. Brad, you mentioned it on the first possession of the ball game as Alexis Kinotico fumbled the ball away. Jays with 5 blocked shots and 3 steals in the opening half. Sydney Lamberty, and those 7 turnovers that KU's committed have led directly to 9 points for the Blue Jays. But they still find themselves down 32-30 at halftime here at DJ Sokol Arena.
We're going to take our final timeout of halftime. We'll step aside for 90 seconds. You are listening to Creighton University women's basketball on 1180 Zone 2, The Deuce.
Vintage Financial Group is a local financial services company committed to helping individuals, families, and businesses achieve financial success. At Vintage Financial Group, we create plans as unique as each individual's needs. Contact Vintage Financial Group and their advisors, Brad Burwell, Kirsten Ricketts, Mindy Helfrich, or Pat Ricketts at 402-932-7233 or vintagefinancialgroup.com.
Insurance issued by Principal Life Insurance Company and Securities offered through Clearwater Financial Services Corporation, 800-247-1123, member SIPC. Principal Life Insurance Corp. Members of the Principal Financial Group, Des Moines, Iowa 50392. Vintage Financial Group is not affiliate or any member of the Principal Financial Group.
Doctors Bimbo and Vince Petro provide quality caring dentistry for your whole family in a friendly, relaxed environment where new patients are always welcome. Look no further than Doctors Bimbo and Vince Petro. For more information or to make an appointment, call today, 397-4505. Doctors Bimbo and Vince Petro at the northwest corner of 144th and Dodge. Former basketball and baseball players, Creighton alums, and all-around sports fans.
Doctors Bimbo and Vince Petro are proud supporters of Creighton University and college athletics.
Hey, what kind of sub is that?
It's the Subway Big Hot Pastrami.
Subway Big Hot Pastrami?
No, pastrami.
Pastrami?
Hey, get back here! Pastrami!
No, pastrami!
Look, it's the Subway Big Hot Pastrami. Want to split it? Get your own Subway Big Hot Pastrami Melt, a monument to flavor loaded with dry rub, pepper-crusted beef, and melty cheese. Enjoy yours with mustard and pickles. Subway, eat fresh.
You're listening to Creighton University women's basketball on 1180 Zone 2, The Deuce.
Halftime here at the Sokol Arena. KU right now with a 2-point lead over the Jays, 32-30. If you were with us from our pregame, you heard Coach Flannery talk about the team right after this ball game kind of scattering to all of their homes for some well-deserved time off, about 4.5 days before they reconvene here on Saturday evening. The Jays then will start the Big East. Well, actually, they've already started their Big East part of their schedule back in early September, but they'll really be into the crux of it as they'll take on Georgetown on December the 30th here before they hit the road for a couple. But it'll be interesting to see how the Jays fare in the Big East. We just found out St. John's, who had been undefeated, actually lost to an old Missouri Valley Conference team for their first loss.
Yeah, Indiana State went into Queens there and knocked off St. John's, their first loss of the year in double overtime. So Indiana State not picked near the top of the league in the Valley, but they obviously a new coach this year in Terre Haute. They were able to go in there and knock off St. John's. Yeah, the Jays, it'll be interesting. Jays, as mentioned, picked 4th in the Big East this year, and I think that's a tribute to Flan because of not a lot of the same returning parts to this team, and a tribute not only to Flan but Marissa Janning as well. When you have the Big East Player of the Year, you're going to earn a little bit more respect as well. And but the Jays, I think, 4th looks realistic to me, if not a little bit higher, just through the early parts of the year. You asked Flan a couple of games ago, is this, where you thought you would be right now? And he thought, yeah, maybe even a little bit ahead of where he thought he would be, especially with players like Sydney Lamberty stepping up a little bit, maybe contributing a lot more than the Jays projected, the staff projected her fitting in. And the other freshmen are coming along nicely as well. And, you see Bree Rollerson having a good game tonight. It's going to be important for her to contribute as well and not leave it up to just Alexis Akinotico and just Marissa. Different players are going to have to step up and fill those voids every night. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Jays compete without that leadership that they had from last year's team with so many seniors on last year's squad.
Well, you and I have talked about it a couple of times. You know what you're going to get from Marissa Janning. Maybe not shooting as well tonight, but Alexis Akinotico, a nice player. We didn't know, she, as you had talked last time, kind of playing in the shadow of Sarah Nelson. She has really stepped up this year. Adamson added some dimension to her game with the outside shot. And we really didn't know what we were going to get from Bree Rollerson. She obviously had all the talent in the world coming in, lacked a little bit defensively, but we've seen flashes of really good play for her, and nobody knew what we were going to get from the freshman. And obviously Sydney Lamberty has proved to be a real find.
Yeah, she's been outstanding. Again, reigning 3-time Big East Player of the Week, and we'll see if she can turn it up a notch here in the second half. Again, tied for the team high 8 points in the first half. 17 minutes played. Again, no turnovers for her in the first half, along with an assist. She ranks 3rd in the nation in assist-turnover ratio. We've mentioned that a few times, but it's worth mentioning again because it's such an impressive stat as a freshman to come in and only commit 9 turnovers in your first 11-plus games in your college career.
And we shouldn't leave out MC McCrory is kind of an interesting thing. You and I really didn't see her play very much until February last year. She may have played maybe the last month, 6 weeks of the season for any period of time, and nobody really knew what we'd get out of her. She's averaging 8.5 points a game.
Yeah, 8.5 points and 27 minutes a game. She's a steadying presence out there as well. Doesn't make a lot of unnecessary passes, unnecessary turnovers.
Cheadle gives the ball up as we're back underway to Knight. Knight starts to drive through the paint. Dish back out. Aldridge. Bounce pass down low. Gardner, they double team her, and she goes down, and ball taken away by Alexis Akinotico.
Gardner really forced that shot up. You can see she's hungry to get in the flow of the game, but she forced it there.
McCrory with the basketball. Gives a signal, and Jay's going to run one of their maybe few set plays coming out of the second half. Janning will drive down and
touch foul on the baseline as she got around Jada Brown, and as she got around Brown, she fouled her. So the first foul in the second half goes against Brown.
As Akinotico will trigger it in, finds Rollerson to McCrory. Back, Marissa. Elbow jumper, Akinotico, yes, her first bucket.
Just her second field goal attempt. Good to see her spot up and shoot right when she caught that. You knew what she was doing.
And that is good, wanting to get her involved in this ball game. They're going to need her before the night is over. Aldridge. High post, Gardner. Skip back over to Cheadle. Cheadle trying to work around the screen. Gives it back to Brown. Brown not wanting to shoot, but Aldridge will, and nails the three.
I don't know what the Jays were sagging a little bit too much there. Again, paying a lot of attention to Chelsea Gardner, but you cannot leave Aldridge that wide open for a three.
Back to a 3-point lead for KU. Lamberty gives it off to Janning. Tries to drive baseline, gets cut off by Knight. Long one, and that one misses everything by Akinotiko.
Yeah, that was maybe too quick of a trigger there for Alexis.
Aldridge trying to drive through. Looked like she had a path to the basket, but gave the ball up and almost threw it away. In fact, does throw it away, does Cheadle.
8th turnover against Kansas. See if the Jays can capitalize on this possession.
Aldridge actually looked like she had an open run to the bucket, decided to pass it off.
Well, she does lead this team with 48 assists. She's almost a pass-first point guard.
Lamberty trying to drive it through the lane, gets it blocked by Gardner. That may be one of the few mistakes we've seen the freshman make.
Yeah, that's a dangerous prospect. I mentioned she's second in KU history in blocked shots, and that was an easy one to block.
Brown gives that one up to Knight. Knight trying to drive through, puts it up, and no good. Brought out of there again by Bree Rollerson.
Knight really forcing contact with MC McGrory, but they didn't call it because it was initiated by the offensive player there.
Jamming a wide open three, yes! She had to knock that one down because they lost her completely.
Yeah, Marissa 0 for 3 to start the game from beyond the arc. That's the shot she has to have.
Tied again at 35. Knight, top of the key to Brown as they lay off way off of her, and we've got a whistle, foul underneath.
Looked like it was against Bree Rollerson that we had two officials blow the whistle, so they're going to talk about who they wanted to call the foul on. They're going to call it an offensive foul, or 3 seconds. 3 seconds was the call, so it would have been nice if it would have been a foul against Gardner, but Gardner was just camped out down in the lane. She's been watching that over the past several offensive possessions for KU. She really hasn't left the paint hardly at all, and finally the officials caught it that time.
So Jays with the ball. Rollerson high post, trying to get rid of the ball, finds McCrory. McCrory takes it down, puts it up. Yes! Wow. MC McCrory, good body control.
Well, that ball was tipped a couple times. I mean, she kept that ball in her hands, but it was touched by KU, and she just muscled it through the defense.
MC with 7 points on the evening. Jays retake the lead, 37-35. Knight finds Cheadle. Cheadle working against McCrory. Bounce pass to Aldridge. Aldridge trying to go around the screen, three on the way, and no good. McCrory comes away with a rebound. Jays trying to run. McCrory puts it up. Yes! Good pass, great bucket by McCrory.
Wow, MC had a couple of options there. She could have done what she did and take it all the way and get the bucket, or she had an open Janning on the wing she could have kicked it to. Thankfully, she converted, so it doesn't make it look like it was a bad decision.
So the Jays have gone up by 4 here, 4 minutes in to the second half. Cheadle back top of the key to Boyd. And that one's stolen by Akinotiko, who just jumped up and anticipated that pass.
Boyd lost control of that before she got rid of it.
Janning, another wide open three, yes! The Jays are up by 7. Bonnie Hendrickson has seen quite enough, and she is going to call a timeout. With that timeout on the floor, we're going to pause for 60 seconds. You are listening to Creighton University women's basketball on 1180, Zone 2, The Deuce. Have come out in the second half on a 12-3 run to turn a deficit into a 7-point lead at this point in time, and Marissa Jennings finally found her touch.
Yeah, she's hit both of her 3-point attempts here in the second half. Quickly up to 14 points already for her and the Jays with 10 straight points here, making their last 4 field goals. It's amazing how much easier and nicer the game feels when you're making your shots. And we should mention that, yeah, the Jays struggled to shoot in the first half, but this is against a very good defensive team in Kansas. They are only allowing opponents to score 56 points a game. Opponents are only shooting 33% against them on the season. That's incredible numbers to have over the entire season.
Jays have really, they've had some tough starts, but they've had some really good second half.
Yeah, and at home as well, the Jays, remember, we talked about how they needed to come out in the second half against UNO, and they really took it to UNO the last time out. They outscored UNO by 15 in the second half. Today, a 12-3 run to start, including the 10-0 run that the Jays are currently on.
So Bonnie Hendrickson forced to call a timeout there, and now the Jays again with pressure in the backcourt. Knight getting the ball, and she'll work it up against Lamberty. Knight into the front court, finds Asia Boyd. Boyd trying to drive to the basket. Gives it up to Cheadle. Cheadle trying to drive it down low and gets that one knocked away by Rollerson. I'll tell you what, Bree Rollerson having quite a ball game here tonight, and that's going to get us to the media timeout. 15:26 left in this ball game. Jays on top, 42-35. We'll step aside for this 60-second timeout. You are listening to Creighton University women's basketball on 1180, Zone 2, The News. That last play on that shot by Cheadle was ruled a block by Bree Rollerson. Her 4th block of the night, Rob.
Yeah, that's it. It ties a career high. It's obviously a season high for her. And again, already 9 rebounds, so looking at a double-figure rebound night for her. Hopefully she's going to get a couple more here before the night is over. And you couple her defensive performance with the offense that Marissa Jennings has started to contribute out there. And MC McGrory's come on in this half as well. And a little bit of something from everyone right now for the Blue Jays with this 7-point lead.
Yeah, it will be the Jays coming back with that lineup. You see Coach Flannery do this quite a bit this season. He'll play multiple players in the first half, saving his first team. And Knight gets the ball, tries to step inside the screen. Boyd a long 3, no good. Rebounded, and there is her 10th rebound.
Yeah, talk about it and it happens. Let's see maybe a 3-pointer from somebody now.
McCrory with the basketball. Finds Lamberty as they work the ball around the perimeter. They find Janney open for 3 again. That one's short. Somehow KU left her open once again. Marissa just couldn't pull the trigger, get that one to go down. Aldridge tries to drive, gives it up to Boyd. Back to Knight. Knight. They find Aldridge. Crossover dribble gets cut off by McCrory, though. Knight drives to the lane, blocked out of bounds again by Bree Rollerson.
Bree just pokes it away. I don't know if they'll give that a block shot or not, but I think she probably got it tipped away before the, yeah, it looks like they will not give that a block, but a nice defensive play nonetheless with 7 seconds left now on the shot clock.
Cheadle going to take it to the basket. They give it up to Boyd. 3 on the way. Yes, this time the lefty Boyd able to knock it down and narrow the Jays' lead to 4.
That's a good-looking shot there by Boyd. That's her first basket of the ball game. She did enter this game ranked second on this squad with 17 threes.
Again, Otico gives it back to Jannings, starts to drive. Stutter step, and Jays with just their second turnover. I think she thought somebody was to be cutting baseline, nobody to be found at home.
Well, she dribbled into traffic, had nowhere to go.
Knight, the up and under with the left hand. Nice play by Natalie Knight.
Now KU has answered this 10-0 run by the Blue Jays nicely to cut it back to within 2.
Jays need to execute offensively here. Lamberty goes to Bree Rollerson underneath, puts it up. Yes, Bree Rollerson.
Nice catch and finish. We talk about her soft hands all the time, but that was on display there. She had some contact as she came down with it, but maintained possession and got the nice soft touch, the teardrop almost, no backboard used.
Gardner trying not to pick up a foul, kind of backed off. And right now, they try to get the ball to Gardner, but Jays kind of doubling down on her. They give it up to Boyd. Boyd starts to drive, puts it up on the run, no good. Akinotico with a rebound. Lead pass, gets it up to Lamberty. Lamberty back to MC. Jays working around the perimeter. They look down low. Rollerson puts it up. Yes!
Wow.
Bree Rollerson with a double-double.
Well, the Jays had the mismatch there on Kansas. They got it down as Bree matched up against Natalie Knight, a 5'7" player. They fed her, caught it high, stayed high, and she has the double-double, her third career double-double.
Knight trying to work around the screen from Gardner, takes it all the way. And that one, I think.
Bree finally gets called for a foul on one of those reach-ins.
And that's going to send Knight to the free throw line.
And it looks like Bree might take a seat here as well as we see Norby up getting ready to check in after this first free throw. Second foul on Rollerson, and that'll put Natalie Knight at the free throw line for the first time tonight. She is a very good free throw shooter, 14 out of 15 on the season.
That translates to 93%. Thanks to Rob, you jinxed her.
She's a fantastic free throw shooter, like I said.
Keep saying it.
Lauren Works checking in along with Bailey Norby as Rollerson and McGrory go to the bench. Now we talked that Works has taken a couple shots, missed a couple shots. She missed 3 games with an ankle injury. She hasn't really found her shooting touch since she's come back from that injury. Just 1 for 7 from three-point range since returning.
Knight does make the second. Closes the gap to 5 for KU. We've got 12:40 left in the ball game. Lamberty finds Works. Marissa Janning working against Aldridge. Stops, puts up the 10-footer, no good. Norby with the tap, but Boyd comes out of there with it. Aldridge, and we're going to get a whistle and
offensive foul.
Offensive foul, and that is going to be on Gardner, her third.
And that's big. Still 12:20 to go, but Gardner picking up her third, and she's going to take a seat now, and that will get Williams back in. Bunny Williams, a 6'1" senior. Again, 35 rebounds, 5 points on the season, so that you lose your first team all-conference player, your best rebounder, your best block shot, your shot blocker, and your best scorer, and replace her with a person that scored 5 points all year.
And who drew that foul was Bailey Norby, the freshman. Janning working against Knight. Crossover, gives it up to Works. Works will take the 3. No good. Tapped. And we're going to get a foul, I believe, on Akinotico. That will be her third. So 1 player, 3 fouls for KU. Now Akinotico with 3.
That's a tough foul to call. Is the official the furthest away from the basketball as well that whistled that. And Lex had just gone up and tried to tip it out over, but got whistled for that foul.
So bringing the ball up will be Bradley. Bradley trying to work around Works, and Works goes down, loses her defensively. Bradley puts it up and gets the easy 8-footer.
Bradley now with 12 points. Bradley's season high is 16.
So Janning, high post, Norby, hands off Lamberty. And what are we going to get? A call, a whistle. I think it's going to be on KU.
It's away from the basketball
on
Boyd. Her third.
And
so
calling a forearm on Boyd. Well, that's going to get us to immediate timeout. When we come back, it will be Jays basketball on top, 46-43. We'll pause for 60 seconds. You are listening to Creighton University women's basketball on 1180, Zone 2, The Deuce.
As the team celebrates its 20th anniversary, we pledge our loyalty Smith proudly back the Blue Jays, enjoying a mutual friendship and passion for college sports. Come join us at one of our 3 locations after the game to celebrate the wins, mourn the losses, and enjoy the camaraderie. We have intimate dining and party rooms that can accommodate up to 100 fans. Let the fiesta begin, and may the Blue Jays have their best season yet. Fernando's loves you.
Some days, it's tough to get started. If it takes you longer than it used to, maybe it's time to start something new. Mancore with our most powerful all-natural male supplements. Only at Complete Nutrition. Shed pounds fast, build strength and stamina. Sleep at night. Mancore. Start
Back once again at the Silver Arena, Jays on top, 46-43. That foul when we went to break was on Asia Boyd, her third, the team's third. So Rob, a couple of key players with 3 fouls, Asia Boyd and Gardner both with 3 fouls.
Yeah, Gardner and Boyd, 2 of the 3 Jayhawks that average in double figures scoring on the year. Gardner, their leading scorer, 17.5 points, and Boyd averages right at 10 points per game. So both of those players with 3 fouls. The second leading scorer on this team, Natalie Knight, on the season averages 12 points. She only has 3 tonight, 1 for 5. It's the freshman Bradley, Terrielle Bradley, having a game for herself. 12 points, 3 for 4 from the field, 5 for 5 from the free throw line to lead KU. She's the only player in double figures for the Jayhawks. The Jays with Marissa Janning at 14 and Brianna Rollerson with her 3rd career double-double, 10 points and 10 rebounds, and Breeze back on the floor now for the Jays. In fact, it's the original starting lineup for Creighton back on the floor now.
Yeah, and Breeze also got 4 blocks to go along with that. So inbounding will be Lamberty, gets it to MC McCrory. MC gives it out to Lamberty, trying to look for a back door, but Janning can't shake herself free. Akinotico all the way to the basket. She is fouled, and that foul is going to be on Bradley. And that's going to be a shooting foul as 3 fouls picked up by Bradley now, 4th team foul.
Yeah, those fouls really starting to mount up, actually, and Brown has 2, so 4 players that play important roles on this team with multiple fouls, and we'll see if Alexis can get on the board here.
In and out on the free throw, and Alexis, who had been a really good free throw shooter coming into this season, still find her stroke from the charity stripe.
Yeah, 61% on the year.
And misses them both, but gets her own rebound. Well, if you're going to miss, I guess you got to get your own board.
Good
That's
hustle
the
there.
Lamberty, and they're going to get a walk and a rare turnover against the freshman.
Yeah, just her 10th of the season. It's rare that you actually know how many turnovers somebody has too, but it's so few that we know how many she's had this year.
So after a really good effort by Akinotico, but unfortunately, Jays are going to have to knock down those free throws, just 7 out of 11, while KU 14 out of 18. They're in the 11-minute mark. Jays still on top by 3. Cheadle puts up 1 on the run, no good. Lamberty with a rebound. Sidney dribbling, coming the other way. Gives it up to Akinotico, puts it up, yes! Good feed by Lamberty, good finish by Lexi.
Yeah, that ball tipped on the way to Lex, so good job by her to control it, come down with it, and go up strong again. KU playing without their best inside defender.
5-point lead. They do give it up. Knight starts to drive baseline and knocked out of bounds by MC McCrory. And it'll still be KU ball.
Bonnie Henriksen looking for a block there, a foul called against MC McCrory. The Jays with 2 fouls this half. KU whistled for 4.
So triggering it in from the left of her basket will be Aldridge. Finally does get it in to Knight. Knight trying to work around the screen from Williams. Gives it up to Cheadle. Cheadle with 5 on the shot clock. That one knocked away. Bradley puts it up as the shot clock goes off, and she misses. So the Jays get the rebound, dodge a bullet there. She had a decent look.
Good
Did
D.
not put it away.
Yeah, good D by the Jays, and good job to come away with that rebound. They now have the rebounding edge on this larger KU team, 31-29.
McCrory gives it up to Alexis. Back to Lamberty. Lamberty isolated left side. Back to McCrory, under 6 on the shot clock. MC's going to have to take it. Puts up the runner, no good. But MC fighting for the basketball, and timeout. Nice play by MC McCrory. Great hustle.
She was boxed out. She had no business getting that rebound, but she was able to fight through it and come away with the tie, or actually not even a tie-up. She pounced on the ball. Flan is wise enough to call the timeout there to save the possession for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, Jays had plenty of time. That was they had 4 to give, and they're down to 3 timeouts, but certainly with under 10 minutes left, a wise timeout. Every possession counting. At this point in time with the Jays with a 5-point lead.
But it feels like one of those games I talked about at halftime. It doesn't feel like either of these teams is going to pull away in this game. So you talked about possession being important, free throws you mentioned just a minute ago, how important those are in this ball game. The second half shooting right now, the Jays shooting 57% from the field in the second half. Kansas only 33%, and they are only 33% in the game. The Jays have pushed past KU in field goal percentage.
So will be Lamberty triggering it in from the left of her basket. The Jays with almost a full shot clock. They have 28, so plenty of time to run their offenses. Marissa Channing, even before Lamberty had the ball, was already trying to get her moves going here. Lamberty has to dish back out to Channing. Marissa, 3 on the way, misses everything.
Yeah, that looked like she had a hand in her face and she just didn't release as well as she should have. I don't know if she felt the pressure there from Chayla Cheadle. And obviously, if your best player, best three-point shooter, one of the best in school history, shoots an air ball, something was disrupted. But you're right, that wasn't blocked and it wasn't a foul. It was just a poor release from Marissa.
Bringing it up will be Knight in the forecourt. Lamberty picks her up defensively. Knight trying to drive to the basket, puts it up off the glass, yes. Nice play by the senior Natalie Knight, who's been somewhat quiet, and we'd like to keep it that way.
Yeah, patient approach there from the senior, starting her 95th straight game for Kansas. Very patient, very smart play.
McCrory finally gets it to Lamberty, and we've got a foul, and that foul is going to be underneath, and that foul is going to be on Channing.
Her first, I'm not sure, must have been a moving screen away from the ball. Either way, it's going to go down as a turnover for the Jays. Just their 4th in the ball game. 3rd this half, however.
Knight will bring the ball up. Her team trailing 48-45. Knight working against Lamberty. Again, cutting through the lane is Knight. Blocked out of bounds. And we're going to get a whistle, and that's on it. Oh, it's on Rollerson.
It looked more like Lex got more of the arm than Bree did. Fortunately for the Jays, that was whistled on Bree because that would have been the 4th on Alexis. Both of those post players now with 3 fouls. And you got to wonder how much longer Bonnie Henriksen is going to keep her best player on the bench with 3 fouls, Chelsea Gardner.
I'm guessing probably till the media timeout, which is about 45 seconds away as Knight hits her first 2 out of 3 from the free throw line tonight. Now Knight's starting to get some points here. She's got 6. Trying to draw the Jayhawks within 1, and she does just that. So the Jays have had larger leads. They've seen it cut. They pumped it back up. They go to Rollerson down low. Rollerson puts it up. Yes, Rollerson had the smaller Bradley on her. She converted.
Now, the Jays have done a great job of recognizing mismatches all night long, whether it be a perimeter player on the outside matched up against Gardner or vice versa in the paint for the Jays.
Floating one-hander put up and down by Aldridge. Either one of either Rollerson or Kenotico wanting to pick up their 4th foul.
Aldridge now with 9 points, 2 above her season average.
Lamberty trying to drive, gives it up to Kenotico. Lexi finds Channing. Channing, they try to dribble out of trouble. Stops, 15-footer on the way. No good. Rollerson, yet another rebound. Rollerson's fouled. Amongst 3 KU players, Brianna Rollerson comes down with yet another offensive board.
She'll be rewarded with some free throws when we come back.
And when we come back, we'll see if Bonnie Henriksen gets her post player Gardner back into the ball game. We'll step aside for 60 seconds. You are listening to Creighton University women's basketball on 1180, Zone 2, The Deuce.
Why earn your degree from Creighton University? Chances are you're going to do Here, you'll learn how to make a real difference in your life. Having the resources to start a career We don't stand still. There is no off switch, only momentum. A drive to let go and follow our passion. This is who we are, and it's time to unite. Together, it's time to let everyone know we don't coast. Brought to you by the Greater Omaha Chamber.
You're listening to Creighton University Women's Basketball on 1180 Zone 2, The Butte.
Brad Burwell, Rob Sims back at the Soap Arena, and I guess to use a very old term, we've got a barn burner on our hands here.
Yeah, 7 ties in this ball game, 10 lead changes. The Jays have actually held the lead for the majority of this game. It's felt not like that. The Jays have actually led for 22 minutes in this ball game. Kansas with just about 5 minutes of lead time in this game, and the Jays clinging to a 1-point lead right now. Kansas starting to turn up their shooting, 6 of 14 here in the second half and 37% in the game. And the Jays, it seems like when one team's cold, the other team is warming up, and then it flips. Right now the Jays are on the bad side of that. The Jays struggling to knock down their shots. However, still shooting 53% in the second half, just 36% in the game. We'll see if Brianna Rollerson can increase her third career double-double. Again, 8 offensive rebounds, 11 total, 12 points, and she's going to go to the line for 2 here.
Now Bree will have 2 shots. She grabbed that rebound, as we indicated, standing amongst 3 players. Free throw up and perfect by Bree. Give her 13 as Gardner does return the lineup, as does Asia Boyd. So both those players with 3 fouls. Jays with the Kenotico and Rollerson. Bree knocks them both down. Gives the Jays a 3-point lead.
Big free throws. Both teams are going to need those down the stretch in a tight ball game. KU shooting 80% at the line right now. Creighton up to 69%.
Bradley trying to drive all the way to the basket, puts it up, and that is going to be the 4th foul on Bree Rollerson.
And they did exactly what they needed to do there. Terrielle Bradley put her head down and went to the basket. Bree did her best. She stood tall and tried not to make any contact there, but credit the offensive player Bradley in drawing that foul.
Bradley free throw up and good as Taylor Johnson will come in to replace Bree. And, a lot of times you may say, okay, well, that's fine, but Bree has had one super night. You hate to see her go to the bench.
Well, she's a big reason the Jays are out rebounding a much taller Kansas team right now because of the boards that she's gotten.
And Bradley continues to hit her free throws. 7 out of 7. She has 14 points. Kenotico, a 3, misses everything. Jays have missed badly on some perimeter shots. That one put up by Boyd from 3, and she doesn't miss. And KU has regained the lead.
She's got a nice stroke, and the Jays cannot leave her that wide open, and Flan is going to talk to his team about leaving her that wide open. She's a 44% shooter from 3-point range, and this team is a good 3-point shooting team, and they are now 6 of 11 from behind the arc. You just mentioned on the opposite end, the Jays have missed badly on a lot of 3-point attempts today. Do not look like one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country today. They are just 5 out of 18, and they're not just barely missing. That air ball from Alexis was one of a few air balls we've had from 3-point range. Marissa's also hit the front iron on the rim a couple times on shots she's usually knocking down, or at least coming a little bit closer to making. Sydney Lamberty, who's been shooting the ball well. She was 3 for 3 from 3-point range against UNO today, just 1 out of 4. And the Jays on the wrong side of a 54-52 score right now. Still plenty of time left in this one, 7:26, but fouls and free throws are going to play a big role in this one down the stretch.
Jays do get the ball in as Channing will bring it up, and somebody's going to have to get hot for the Jays because you don't expect KU not to hit some shots. Channing gives it up. Lamberty a 3 on the way. That one misses everything. But Kenotico, nope, they say it went out of bounds.
They're saying Alexis, when she tried to save it, tippy-toeing over there on the end line, actually stepped on the out-of-bounds line as well. And again, another air ball from 3-point range.
Yeah, we've seen the Jays' top 3 scorers all have 1 air ball in this half from beyond the arc. Asia Boyd driving all the way to the basket, knocked away by Kenotico, and she had a 2-on-1 against her. And Alexis did a great job of breaking that up. Channing. Back to Lamberty. They go low post to Kenotico. Yes! Again, the mismatch, and she had Aldridge. Jays doing a good job of capitalizing on that.
Yeah, we talked about Alexis being undersized in the post, but she still had 4 inches on Aldridge. That's a big mismatch in the Jays. Again, being smart, taking advantage of that and seeing it.
Tied again at 54, 6.5 minutes left in this ball game. Knight with the basketball. They go top of the key to Boyd. Again, trying to get it to Gardner. They do go down low. Gardner puts it up, yes. Genotico playing tough down there, but she's got to be careful with her own foul trouble.
Now Gardner in double figures now for the 11th time in 12 ball games.
Lamberty gives it up to Janning. Janning gonna go right, puts it up off the glass. Yes,
nice.
And she is fouled. Knight with the foul, and Marissa Janning will be going to the free throw line to try to give the Jays back the lead.
What KU has done a couple of times now, I've noticed, they obviously know the scouting report. They know Marissa's left-handed, so they've been told to take away the left hand. They're favoring the left hand way too much there. Marissa's perfectly capable of dribbling with her right hand. She's not right hand dominant by any means, obviously a left-hander, but she's perfectly capable of dribbling with the right hand, and she did that. She dribbled right hand along the baseline, converts, and gets a three-point play now.
Janning gives the Jays back the lead at the 6-minute mark, 57-56. Jays, 5 seconds? No, what did they call it?
Timeout.
Timeout by Bonnie Hendrickson, who was afraid that they were going to get a 5-second call. So
well, and
they're
it would have
down to
been the 13th turnover for KU. Jays have capitalized big time on turnovers. 16 points off turnovers by KU in this one, and the Jays, because of those, have the lead right now by 1.
Jays going to try to stay close here. I'm guessing that at the media timeout we'll see Brianna Rollerson back in the ball game.
Yeah, you can't keep her on the bench much longer. There's no need to save her. And Flam, we've watched him long enough his entire head coaching career to know that he's not fearful of playing players with 4 fouls. I can remember Angie Janis picking up 3 fouls in the first half one time, and he continued to keep her out there in the first half. You have to be a smart player when you are playing with foul trouble. But you're right, it'll be about 4 minutes left before we see her again.
And that should be off of KU. Great play by Janning. Aldridge couldn't control it. A turnover on KU.
So not only a turnover, a wasted time out there by Kansas. Bonnie Hendrickson did call that timeout to save a possession. They end up losing it anyway.
So Lamberty looking to get it in. Does get it in to Norby. Norby back to Janning, and Jays will try to increase this 1-point lead. McCrory gives it up to Norby. Back to Kenotico. Starting to drive through the lane. Back to McCrory. 3 on the way. No good. Too hard off the iron. MC had a good look.
Nice drive and kick out there by Alexis Kenotico as well.
Aldridge looking low, trying to get Gardner. Now Norby trying to face her, getting out in front of her. A real battle going on down low, and
they're going to call Norby.
They finally call Norby. That will be the Jays' 16th foul. So both teams with 16 fouls. The next one on either team will result in free throws.
Second foul on Norby, and she really was battling hard under there, but finally got called for the hold.
Aldridge gives it out to Knight. Knight starting to drive. Put up and good by Aldridge. That one's for Knight. That's a 3.
Yeah, Knight, a 47% three-point shooter. So their top three-point shooters are continuing their hot shooting. The Jays, however, need to find their shooting touch still.
Janning gives it back to Norby as Janning goes down. They go low post. Kenotico gives it up to Norby. Back to Kenotico. Puts it up.
Wow.
Yes. Norby probably should have taken the shot, but finally Kenotico found the loose ball and ties the ball game.
Jays very fortunate to come away not only with the ball, but with a bucket in addition to it.
Again, they give it up, this time to Bradley. Back top of the key to Asia Boyd. Aldridge, they go down low. Gardner with the easy look, and they've definitely got to get Bree Rollerson back in the ball game.
Yeah, there was good movement off the ball there by the Jays. Aldridge is a heck of a point guard. A freshman really had a great look there.
McCrory with the basketball. Jays got to continue to trade baskets, though. Lamberty, 15 on the shot clock. Back to Channing. Channing tries to drive by Knight. loses the basketball. Jays with a turnover there. Boyd trying to go all the way down. Lamberty, nice block and keeps it alive. And what are they saying?
They're going to say Marissa was out of bounds, came back in, and then touched the ball first, so it's going to stay with Kansas.
So Boyd goes down, and that gets us to the media timeout. 3:53 to left in this ball game. KU on top, 61-59. We'll step aside for 60 seconds. You are listening to Creighton University women's basketball on 1180 Zone 2, The Deuce.
Vintage Financial Group is a local financial services company committed to helping individuals, families, and businesses achieve financial success. At Vintage Financial Group, we create plans as unique as each individual's needs. Contact Vintage Financial Group and their advisors, Brad Burwell, Kirsten Ricketts, Mindy Helfrich, or Pat Ricketts at 402-932-7233 or vintagefinancialgroup.com.
Insurance issued by Principal Life Insurance Company. Securities offered through Creighton Financial Services Corporation. 800-247-1123. Member SIPC. Principal Life and Principal are members of the Principal Financial Group. And number 50392. Vintage Financial Group is not affiliated or member of the Principal Financial Group.
While you're in your degree from Creighton University, chances are you want to do more than get a paycheck. Here, you'll learn how to make a real difference in your life. Have the resources to start a career you're passionate about. Make great strides in research that's changing lives. You'll be able to build more, succeed more. That's why you come to Creighton. You're more than just a student. This is more than just an education. Go to bemore.creighton.edu.
You're listening to Creighton University women's basketball.
Back at the Sokol Arena, we have 3:53 left in this one, and the Jays right now trailing KU 61-59. It will be KU's ball when we come back. Off that call, Marissa Channing had gone out of bounds. The ball had been tapped. She jumped back in and grabbed it, but you can't do that.
Yeah, that missed shot by Asia Boyd stopped a run of 6 consecutive makes by Kansas as well, which has gotten them back in the lead again. 10 ties in this game, 13 lead changes in the ball game as the Jays down 2 with 3:53 to go.
So as we suspected, Bree Rollerson will return to the lineup with those 4 fouls. So it is the Jays' original starting lineup. You'd expect no less going down the stretch. KU with the exception.
It's Boyd for Brown, basically.
For Brown is the big change. And actually, Cheadle is not in the game. Bradley is in the game for her.
Oh, you're right.
So Aldridge with the basketball, waving Knight off. Gives it up to Gardner, way away from the basket. Hands off to Knight. Knight puts it up. Nice fake by Knight. I thought she was going to pass the ball. Faked it. Looks like something Marissa Channing would do.
Again, a senior guard has started 95 games. She has looked under control and cool down the stretch here in a tight game for her team.
Sydney Lamberty. Now the Jays find themselves down a couple of possessions. Need a bucket here. They go to Kenotico. Lexi, step back, 10-footer, yes!
Wow.
Hits the roll.
Hit the heel first, got a sat up there before it rolled down in. The Jays fortunate to get the home bounce there.
And after a slow start, Lexi with 10 points. Bradley, back top of the key to Boyd. Boyd hands off to Aldridge. Trying to post up Gardner. They're going to that knocked away and finally stolen by Channing.
And the foul, I think they're going to call on Gardner.
And that'll be her 4th, and that'll send Marissa Channing to the free throw line to shoot 1-1. That's even a bigger break.
And unfortunately, if you're a Kansas fan and you hate to see that, because really Gardner, what happened there, they tried to lob it into her. The Jays come up with the steal, and Gardner just lunging for the ball commits the foul as she tried to come away with the basketball, and really not an intended foul, but good result for the Blue Jays.
So Marissa with a chance here to tie the ball game with the 1-1, makes the first.
Yeah, Marissa really looking a lot more like herself at the free throw line over the past couple games. She's now 4 for 4 at the line today. She was 4 for 4 on Saturday as well.
18 points on the evening for the junior. Second one rattles in, and we got a tie ball game again. 2:48 left in this game. Jays with pressure all over the court. Do get it into Gardner, and then gets the return pass to Bradley. And now Aldridge in possession of the ball. Aldridge gives that one up to Knight. Knight They're fronting. They're double teaming. Gardner. Coming out is Knight. The handoff to Boyd. Boyd dish. Bradley. She's going to take the three, and she hits it.
Wow.
The freshman Bradley, and the Jays gave her the shot. They would rather double team on Gardner, and they gave Bradley the shot.
That's just her 9th make of the year from three-point range, but she, again, is a good shooter out there as well. She's at 44% coming into the ball game.
17 points for the freshman.
A new career high for her.
To give the ball back to Janning. Janning starting to drive through the basket. Wild-looking shot, and coming away with it off the miss is Knight. Under 2 minutes. So KU with the basketball and a three-point lead. Right now, the difference in the ball game, and there's another three by Bradley. This time misses, and Lamberty comes away with the rebound. That one would have been a killer.
That would have been a dagger from the exact same spot where she had just made it from, and the Jays let her shoot it again.
High post, Rollerson. Gives it up to Janning. Janning starts to drive. Dish back. Came through about 3 KU players. Janning, 10 seconds on the shot clock. Janning puts it up on the glass, yes! Back to within one of the Jays at the 113 mark.
Gotta have a stop here and get the rebound, give yourself a chance to take the lead.
So Knight, crowd on its feet. Knight dribbling against Lamberty. 1 minute left in the ball game. We're gonna get a timeout. Bonnie Henriksen going to use one of her 2 remaining timeouts. 58.6 seconds, 16 on the shot clock. She wants a good possession here, and actually maybe good for Jim Flannery. He can kind of set a defense that he wants.
Yeah, Kansas down to their last. They have one more timeout. Creighton with 2, and you're right. The Jays can figure out how exactly they want to approach this possession on defense, how they want to guard Gardner, and it gives him a chance to say, listen, Bradley can hit that shot, don't leave her open. The one thing you don't want to do here is foul as well.
So as we indicated, 16 seconds on the shot clock. Jays still with 2 timeouts. Both of the post players for both teams. Bree Rollerson with 4 fouls, and Gardner, Chelsea Gardner for KU, also with 4 fouls.
11 ties, 13 lead changes. We want to see at least one more lead change in this ball game.
So it will be Bradley inbounding for the Jayhawks. Aldridge gives it up to Knight. Knight trying to drive around, gets cut off by Lamberty. Trying to go it again, gives it to Bradley, trying to go baseline, puts it up and in.
What a tough shot.
Bradley, the freshman, with 19 points on the day. So the Jays, 45 seconds, letting the ball roll. Now MC McCrory, and now the Jays are going to call a timeout, and with 43 seconds left, they don't necessarily have to go for a 3. If it's there, they can take it, but they just need to get a good quick look at the basket.
Yeah, exactly. It does not have to be a 3-pointer on this possession. Like you said, if it's there, and we'll see what Flan draws up. He may draw up a couple of options to say, if this 3 is here, let's take it, but let's run enough play to say, let's get a 2 if it's presented to us.
So it has been a couple of unlikely players here tonight. Bradley for KU, the freshman, coming into this ball game, was averaging 5 points a ball game, has 19 on the night, and Bree Rollerson, while we see a lot of her, I'm sure a lot of people would look at her and say she's averaging 6 points a ball game. She has 14 to go along with 11 rebounds.
Yeah, great game from Bree, and the other 2 Jays that you have come to rely on, Janning and the Kinotico, also in double figures, but Brianna Rollerson's play has really made the difference tonight for the Jays.
That ball almost taken away. McCrory gets it into Bree Rollerson. Janning was looking for the 3. She's got to take it all the way to the basket, puts it up and in. We've only got a 3-second differential, so we'll see what the Jays, and they don't want to foul Knight.
Well, Flan wants pressure, and none of his team is looking for it. We'll see how long they can go here without fouling.
And 20 seconds. They got to get the ball out of Knight's hands. She's got to take it all the way to the basket.
That's a good foul.
So Knight And that's the one they wanted. They wouldn't let the ball out of her hands. She is a 90-plus free throw shooter. She's missed one tonight.
That's only the second she's missed all year as well. That foul, we'll see who they whistled that on. But Knight getting the free throw line. It was a nice hard foul by Alexis Aquino-Tico, so she gets whistled for that. Her fourth. It was, if she was going to foul, she was going to make sure that Knight couldn't score.
And there's Knight's second miss of the night, only her third of the year. So now the Jays are not necessarily needing to look for the three.
And you want the ball in Marissa Janning's hands.
Knight, free throw up, rattles in and out. And the Jays have the ball. We'll see if Jim Flannery calls a timeout. He does. With 9.7 seconds, unbelievable that Natalie Knight, a 93% free throw shooter, misses both of them.
14 of 15 coming into this game. Now she's 3 of 6 tonight. She's an 81% career free throw shooter, so it's not like this has been a fluke start to her season. 14 of 15, 81% in her career, and just 3 out of 6 tonight, and 2 at the most crucial point of the ball game. She misses both of them.
Well, the Jays have 9.7 seconds left, and you can kind of figure what will happen. Somehow the ball needs to find its way into Marissa Janning's hand, and you got to figure she's going to drive to the basket, because the hope would be even if she doesn't get the shot, she'll get fouled.
Well, and if she doesn't get fouled, if she draws enough attention to where if she sees an open look from another one of her teammates, she can dish it out. She does lead the team in assists on the season, and she does have 4 tonight. We'll see what Flan draws up. But, yeah, you're absolutely right. We've seen Flan coach long enough that he's going to put the ball in his best player's hands if they can get it to her, and let her decide what's going on. The nice thing is, if they are pressuring the Jays so much, if KU pressures the Jays so much that they can't get it to Janning, Lamberty has proven herself to be a capable ball handler and scorer.
The Jays are out of timeouts, so they have to get this ball in. So they have no options here. Actually, Janning will.
She'll trigger in, but I imagine she'll get it to MC and give it back to her.
Cheadle will be guarding the inbounds pass. Jays spread out all over the floor, but you're absolutely right. MC McCrory, they actually get it into Rollerson. Back to Janning. She's going to go to the basket, puts it up. No good. Rebounded by KU, and we've got a foul. Unbelievable. Janning had a good look at the basket. 3.2 seconds left. You really couldn't ask for a better look.
Yeah, it was tough. There's a lot of traffic down there as Marissa got to the basket. If you're watching at home, you can see this video replay here. And a tough shot to try to get through. Looked like Cheadle guarding there and just couldn't get it to fall. It's still a 1-and-1 opportunity here, so the Jays need to be ready for this rebound.
So 68-67, free throw up and good.
And no timeouts left for the Jays either. I was a little bit surprised to see Flan call the timeout to set up that last play.
And a 3-point lead, so the Jays will need to move quickly. McCrory coming up. It's going to take the three.
Yes!
Yes! We're going to overtime. MC McCrory with a three-pointer at the buzzer, off balance, and we're going to play 5 more.
How about that? Unbelievable. MC, a very smart player. We've talked about her smartness, her basketball awareness. She didn't pick the ball up immediately because that starts the clock. She let it go almost to half court, picked it up, very aware. You can see her looking at the clock the entire time she's coming down the court, gets the shot up. It was contested as well. Here's the replay on video if you're watching it at home. Aldridge tried to contest it. It hit the rim. It goes in, and we are going to overtime.
The officials are looking, but there was no doubt that ball was almost in the basket when the red light went on.
Yeah, here we can see it. We're watching the replay as well. Clearly the ball is out of the hand of MC McCrory by the time it goes through the cylinder.
Here's a better look at it as we got to check. And
there it
is.
is.
The ball's out of her.
Absolutely.
Now the light goes on. The ball now comes through the basket, but it was 2/3 of the way home before, well, we're going to play 5 more minutes. I know these kids want to get home for Christmas, but I don't think they mind playing 5 more minutes, do you?
Not at all, not at all, especially if it means a win over a big school. We talked to Flan after the game against UNO, and we talked to him about his schedule being 6-5 at this point, and he said, we haven't lost. We don't have a bad loss on our schedule. but we don't really have a great win yet either. We need a good win over a good team, and we need to beat this Kansas team. And give yourself 5 more minutes to try to do that.
Fouls will really come into play here. The Jays, 2 post players, Alexis Akenotico and Brianna Rollerson, both with 4 fouls. The key player in the post for KU, Gardner, has 4 fouls, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. As far as fouls on each team, well, they'll reset it now. Actually, they put 0 up there, but they should just keep it.
Yeah, they're both.
It is.
It's still 1-1
Right.
for both sides. There's 7 fouls for both teams here, so neither team going to be shooting 2 automatically here. And you know, you got to go back to, we mentioned it at halftime how important free throws are going to be, and what's it come down to? Natalie Knight, a 93% free throw shooter, missing 2 free throws within the last minute of play that keeps the game alive. The Jays hit the game-tying three-pointer at the buzzer.
For MC McCrory, that was her 12th point. So the Jays now have 4 players in double figures, and Lamberty just 2 points outside of it. So it will be Gardner and Rollerson. I think we've been here before.
It feels familiar.
A couple hours ago, this started like that, and that's the way it started, with KU controlling the tap.
12 ties, 13 lead changes, and a few more to come.
They give the ball up. They give it out to Asia Boyd. Asia Boyd picked up by McCrory. We'll see if that momentum swings over. Gardner going down, and offensive foul, and she is out of the ball game.
You cannot overstate the importance of that. First team all Big 12, leading scorer, leading rebounder, leading shot blocker, out, gone, and the Jays have a beautiful opportunity now with Kansas's best player on the bench for the final 4:42 of this ball game.
And that could save the Jays some fouls. So now Rollerson and Akenotico, while they have to guard, they don't have to guard the big Gardner. So McCrory with the basketball, still tied after all that. Things seem to be going in the Jays' favor, but they still need to get the lead here. Akenotico tries to drive down, puts up the scoop shot, yes! Alexis Akenotico with 12 points.
Great body control for Lex, a nice step under move with the scoop, as you said, and kisses it off the glass.
Aldridge with the basketball, working against Janet. Still on the dribble is Aldridge. Trying to work around the screen by Williams, starts to drive to the basket, blocked by Lamberty, saved by KU, and we're going to get an offensive foul called on Bradley.
Bradley's 4th now. I know we're in overtime, still 4 minutes to go though. Bradley's been the best offensive threat for KU, and she's got 4 fouls now.
So we're going to get a little housekeeping here as players were falling all over the court. So they will wipe that one up with that offensive foul. That is the 15th turnover on KU. The Jays with just 5. MC McCrory doing her own maintenance over there. So the Jays, we're not quite 1 minute in. We are now into overtime, so still 4 minutes left. Seems like a lot of action here the last 5 minutes. Sydney Lamberty gives it up to Bree Rollerson. McCrory finds Channing, isolated left side, looking for the screen. Bounce pass to Rollerson, can't free herself up. Back to Lamberty. 12 on the shot clock. Lamberty, 3 on the way. Yes! Sydney Lamberty. All 5 Jays starters are in double figures.
Hit the front of the rim, had the nice shooter's roll off the glass, and it came back down through the cylinder.
5-point lead, Jays. Knight starting to drive to the basket, puts it up, yes. So Knight comes right back and gets the Jayhawks back to within 3. McCrory with the basketball. Finds Channing. Channing, top of the key. Channing trying to work through. Step back, finds Lamberty. Looking low post, Rollerson.
That's a foul.
We're going to get a foul, and that is going to go against Bunny Williams.
Bunny Williams, we talk about the drop-off in production from your best player to Bunny Williams. Bunny, a capable player. She averages 12 minutes a game, but she's only scored 5 points the entire year. She has 35 rebounds, 5 points on the year.
So Bree Rollerson at the free throw line, still a 1-1. Well, may have been 2. They were calling That was the 10th team foul, so it's 2 shots. So Bree, 3 out of 4. Now 4 out of 5 from the free throw line for Bree Rollerson.
Those look pure. Nice shots from Bree. Give her 16 points.
Bradley will bring the ball up. Jays lead back to 5. Under 3 minutes left in this overtime. Bradley starting to drive against the Kenotika. Puts it up. Bradley is amazing. Hits that shot. 21 points for the freshman.
Just her 3rd double-figure game of her career. Again, season career high for her.
Janney with the ball. Janney starting to drive. Puts up the scoop shot. No good. Kenotika is fouled. Williams with it, yet another foul, and that's going to send Alexis Akinotiko. And right now, the Jays just a step quicker to the ball.
Yeah, a loose ball there. Marissa tried the right-handed scoop shot, hit the underneath of the glass, the board actually, came down. A lot of players around it, nobody pounced on it. Alexis there to take advantage of the opportunity.
And Alexis hit set free throw. She missed her only 2 previous to that tonight. 13 points for Lexi. Second one up. That one too hard off the iron. Pulled down by Knight. 4-point lead halfway through overtime.
Should mention career highs for Rollerson. 16 points and 11 rebounds, both career highs.
Knight step back, misses it, and nice block out by Lexi. A BJ's ball.
Flan pumping his fist, telling his team, good job there. Again, it's the starters. The starters are going to ride this one out. Flan very confident in this 5.
He's got to keep his 2 with 4 fouls on the floor. McCrory. Lamberty works around the screen, stops. 12-footer, too hard, rebounded. Rollerson puts it up, no good, gets one rebound, puts it up.
Use
no
the
good
glass,
again.
Bree, use the glass.
She missed both of them, shot them over the top of the basket. Aldridge. And we're going to get a 5th foul on Bree Rollerson.
Well away from the basket, too, not on a shot. It's going to be a 1-on-1 opportunity for Aldridge, but importantly, Bree Rollerson fouling out after a career night for Bree. Would have loved to see her get up to 18 with a couple of those offensive rebounds, but she will finish the night 16 points, career high. 4 out of 5 at the line, career high, 13 rebounds for her 3rd career double-double. The Jays 78-74 lead with 1:47 to play. It'll be Taylor Johnson on her 22nd birthday coming in to replace Bree Rollerson.
Well, you hate to see Bree leave. It's a lot better with Gardner out of the game also.
Yeah, it's a lot more tolerable. You know, Taylor obviously is a stretch forward to say the least, and the Jays give away some size there, but like you said, with Gardner off the floor, it's not going to impact the Jays as much.
1-and-1 here. Free throw up and good by Aldridge.
Aldridge now 4 for 5 at the line. She's an impressive-looking freshman. Give her 12 points, the rookie from Marshfield, Missouri.
1:47 left. Hits the second. So that Jays lead has now been cut to 2.
And while it feels like the Jays have really dominated control of this game in the overtime period, again, just that one possession ball game right now.
McCrory finds Johnson. Channing cuts to the basket. Down low. Puts it up. Lamberty. No good, but she is fouled. And that's going to be 2 shots for Lamberty. That foul is on Aldridge. Just the first foul. How she's avoided a foul, I have no idea. So Sydney Lamberty with 11 points on the ball game, 3 out of 4 from the free throw line.
And they will say that one on Aldridge, her second. Lamberty knocking it down, give her a dozen now, 6 rebounds, 5 assists as she continues her impressive play. The Jays have now hit 4 out of their 5 free throw attempts in the overtime period.
Second one up, good, perfect. And actually the 3 I was looking at was MC McCrory. Somehow she doesn't have a foul.
There you go.
Neither does Sydney Lamberty. So Aldridge with the ball. Jays up by 4 again. 1:25 left in the ball game. Aldridge trying to drive. Stops. 15-footer. No good. Johnson with the rebound.
Nice.
Gets it to Janney.
Great box out by TJ. She had the positioning on Bradley. Comes down with it. Jays need to run some clock here and maintain possession. Maybe get a good-looking shot at the end of the clock.
McCrory with the basketball. Janney with it now. 15 on the shot clock. 1 minute left in overtime. Janny with 10. Again, Otico. Good move to the basket, puts it up, missed the shot. She had a great move, step back. Long three, Knight, yes, she cans it. And a timeout by KU, and I'll tell you what, that was a turn of events because Alexis Otico made one heck of a step back on that one, spin move, and just left that one short on the rim.
Yeah, Lex has that spin move, but what made it so special this time was the speed of it. She just went from 0 to 90 in a second, and she lost her defender, got a clear path to the rim, and just left it short off the left side, and didn't get it to go. And then you come down, and the Jays defense loses track of Knight, and Knight now has 17 points all of a sudden with her second triple of the evening.
Yeah, you look at Knight, and we talked about it. She actually had a very slow start to this game. We kind of look at halftime.
She was scoreless. She's had all 17 after the half.
Yes. So.
And that a wide open shot. We talked about it. 47% from the field, or from three-point range coming into this one. She's a heck of a ball player. She ranks in the top 20 in the country in assist turnover ratio. An honorable mention, all Big 12 player last year. She's shooting 50% from the field as a guard, and she's been very impressive here as of late when they've needed her. You mentioned it, very quiet in the first half. She missed those 2 clutch free throws, which allowed us to get to overtime, but maybe redeemed herself by knocking down that triple.
Jays were still with a 1-point lead and the basketball. So here again, I think Jim Flannery looking right now to get a good shot, a good possession. Don't need to rush anything. They're still in control, albeit just by 1 point.
Yeah, the Jays need to take good care of the ball as they have throughout this game. We've kind of lost track of it, lost sight of it. 5 turnovers. Unbelievable. We're in an overtime game, less than a minute to go, and they have 5 turnovers as a team. Kansas, if you look at their stats, 16 turnovers.
45.1 seconds left. And the Jays, with Bree Rollerson on the bench fouling out, has replaced her with Taylor Johnson and the other 4 starters, Lamberty, Otico, McGrory, and Janny.
Of course, Bunny Williams out there for Kansas as well, replacing Chelsea Gardner, the first team all Big 12 performer.
Janny with the basketball. Drives by her defender, and a turnover. The one thing the Jays could not afford, and they did not have that many, they give it up right there. So now, KU, Knight with the ball. Knight trying to drive about it, Otico. Knight still on the dribble. She wants the shot. That one thrown up and in. 14 seconds, and now the Jays are 1 point down.
Kansas calls the timeout there to set up their defense, and pretty good defense played by the Jays there. Just an aggressive take by Natalie Knight going up against against Marissa Janning, and Marissa just could not get in the way of Knight to slow her down, and Knight battled her way to the basket for a good look. Not an easy look, but a good look to get it to go and give Kansas back the lead for the first time in the overtime session. 15th lead change we've had in this ball game. We've again had 12 ties, and the Jays have got to get something going. They haven't hit a field goal here since Sydney Lamberty's three-pointer more than 3 minutes ago. So they've been surviving at the free throw line here in overtime. They've got to get something converted on offense.
We'll see if the Jays have any magic left. We were looking at the replay of that shot, and she actually got the ball knocked out of her hands by Marissa Janning while she was up in the air, caught it, and still was able to put it in. Sydney Lamberty with the ball. Lamberty all the way to the basket, puts it up and in! They thought she was going to hand off to Janning. She didn't. Now coming the other way is KU.
They have no timeouts.
Hits the underside of the basket. Oh, and that's a foul. That's a technical foul.
Well, they should give it to her. I don't think they're going to, as Boyd, in frustration on the tie-up, McGrory goes flying to the ground, and Boyd, you can see, is disgusted with the turn of events here. MC, thankfully, is up and smiling. The foul, they're just calling it on Boyd, just calling it a 2-shot foul, just letting that go and not making it worse than it could have been. But just 1.3 seconds left, and the Jays up 1, shooting 2.
And no timeouts left for KU and MC McCrory.
Now they are going to look and see if this should have been a flagrant foul here.
She took her and basically threw her to the ground.
And it was already after the whistle had blown,
Right.
so that's why you were asking for maybe a technical foul to be called, because it was so delayed after the whistle was blown on the initial foul.
Well, look at the replay where she hit Aldridge at the, well, they're not going to show, here we are, and then that's a pretty good takedown.
Yeah, and they looked at it quickly and they're ready to go.
Okay.
So the officials rule no intent there with the throwdown by Boyd on MC McCrory. McCrory 2 for 2 at the line tonight. We talked about she's the best free throw shooter on the team on the season, 84% coming into this evening.
The play we'll talk about is the one where, not because it was a winning basket, everybody in this arena thought Janning was going to get the ball as McCrory hits it. And it was a play design, I'm sure, by Jim Flannery. Lamberty faked the handoff to Janning and just took it all the way to the bucket.
They just overcommitted on the Big East Player of the Year, and they allowed the 3-time Big East Freshman of the Week to hit this potential game-winning shot.
So McCrory hits the second.
The roll.
Now the Jays.
1.3 seconds. KU trying to inbound it.
No good. And the Jays win this one in overtime, 84-81.
Merry Christmas.
We're going to take a quick 2-minute timeout. We'll be back. You are listening to Creighton University women's basketball on 1180 Zone 2, The Deuce. Well, we get to do the stats first.
Oh, right.
Had to play 5 extra minutes to get it done, but Rob, for the first time since 2004, the Jays have finally defeated the Kansas Jayhawks.
A decade and 1 day is the last time it happened. December 21st, 2004 at the Omaha Civic Auditorium, the Jays finally get that monkey off their back and beat this Kansas team. And we talked about it. We've had, the Jays have had talented teams. They've had as talented teams as Kansas has had over the years. You go into some of those games, you think the Jays have got to win this game. They always win at home. They're going to win this game, and they just never could pull it off. Tonight, it almost felt like the same way, especially when you have that last possession in regulation. I think the Jays are down 3. They're going to have to launch up a desperation shot. This time, however, the prayer was answered, and the Jays battle back and play a heck of a ball game in overtime. And man, that was a fun ball game. The Jays prevail 84-81.
So many heroes in this one. We're going to have a chance to talk to Bree Rollerson, even though she fouled out. What a ball game for her. MC McCrory, obviously with a game-time shot in regulation, hit some big shots. Sydney Lamberty, the freshman, just an excellent play to give the Jays the lead, but everybody contributed tonight.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, it was the starters that led the way. The starters, get this, 81 out of the 84 points. Just one basket off the bench for the Jays tonight. So the perfect time to have a long break for the Jays. They're going to need it. As Brianna Rollerson, we talked to Flan, and you always hear she's got to get herself in game shape. We need her to play out there some more. She was out there. She probably would have been out there. She definitely would have been out there longer had she not fouled out. But still, 32 minutes for her, 36 for Alex, 39 for MC, 42 for Sydney, and 43 for Marissa Jannings. So they are going to enjoy their Christmas break that much more, not only with the win, but they're going to get off their feet and relax for a couple days.
Well, while we wait for Coach Jim Flannery, let's get the final stats.
All right, so the Blue Jays in overtime prevail over Kansas 84-81. With the loss, KU drops to 8-4 on the year, 0-2 on the road now for the Jayhawks. The Jays improve to 7-5. They conclude their non-conference season 6-5. Of course, they snuck in a conference game already, and they will restart that here coming up shortly. For Kansas, they end up shooting 46% in the ballgame after shooting just 33% in the first half. They shot 53% from long range. Again, they entered today ranked 9th in the nation in three-point shooting. They shoot 53%, 9 out of 17 from beyond the arc, and they shot 79% at the free throw line, but a crucial two-shot miss at the line by Natalie Knight. Under a minute left in regulation, kept the door open for the Jays, and they were able to sneak in and take advantage of it. 4 Jayhawks in double figures. Terrielle Bradley, a freshman from Texas, with a career-high, season-high 21 points, including 7 of 7 at the free throw line. She looks to be a heck of a ball player for Bonnie Henriksen over the next 4 years. Natalie Knight, 19 points again, the very experienced Jayhawk, 19 points, all of those coming after halftime. So scoreless in the first half, 19 points. She finishes with also 4 assists, 4 rebounds, and she finished 2 for 4 from beyond the arc, but just 3 out of 6 at the free throw line when she entered the game shooting 93%. 13 points for Lauren Aldridge, 12 points for Chelsea Gardner. The all-Big 12 player fouls out, playing just 29 minutes. She finishes with 12 points, 9 rebounds, 2 blocked shots, and 5 turnovers, so not her best performance, and the Jays able to capitalize with her struggling. Shayla Cheadle, 9 points, 5 rebounds, a couple of assists, and a couple of blocked shots, and 7 points for Asia Boyd, 5 rebounds for her. Jayhawks slightly out-rebounded by the Jays. The Jays with the rebounding, they own the rebounding numbers 41-40. They had 15 assists on their 25 baskets in the ballgame. For the Blue Jays, all starters all the time, with the exception of 3 points from Taylor Johnson off of the bench. 23 points for Marissa Janning, leading 5 players in double figures. She finishes with 23, 4 assists, a blocked shot, 2 steals. She finishes 5 for 5 at the free throw line, 8 of 24 from the field for her, and we'll speed through these so we can get Flan on his way on Christmas break. Sydney Lamberty with 15 points, including the game-winning shot there in overtime. 15 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and just 1 turnover, continuing her great stats. Brianna Rollerson, career highs, 16 points, career high, 13 rebounds, including 10 offensive, and ties her career high with 4 rebounds. Again, the Jays shoot 40% in the ballgame, 32% from three-point range, and 79% from the free throw line. We'll talk to Flan here.
So many things to talk about here, Flan. I'll tell you what. First of all, we just said 10 years and 1 day since you beat them last.
Is that right?
It's good to get that off your back.
Wow. It felt like a long time, too. I think when we finally got that last stop, I did a little jump because wow. I mean, and we did a lot of good things, and yet we seemed to get in a position where we had a little bit of control, and then, they'd make some plays. I thought, the Bradley kid made some plays there for him, and Knight would get loose and make big baskets. But we fought. We really shortened the bench. But as you talked about, Bree was, that's the Bree we need. I mean, she's gonna make a difference if she'll play and compete like that every night. She's going to make a huge difference. MC's shot obviously was was the biggest. Well, she and Sid's shot were the biggest of the game, but just a fighting effort. I mean, the thing I told them at half was we had taken 12. They had taken a few more free throws, but we had taken 12 more shots. We'd done a great job of ball security. We had 1 or 2 turnovers at half, and we had 10 offensive boards. So we had taken a lot more shots. And I said to them, we're gonna, if we continue to get more shots, we're eventually going to get warm, and that happened in the second half. But we didn't cool them down from the 3 though.
Not only did Bree neutralize Gardner in the post, she in essence outplayed her. I mean, Gardner had a nice game. She got in foul trouble, but so did Bree late. And it was really Bree's work on the offensive glass that was so impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I just heard you say she had 10. I knew she had quite a few boards, but 10's pretty impressive. And but part of it is we got to the rim with our guards, and when the post helps late, a lot of times that opens it up. But she needs to do that, and then she had big free throws. What did she 4 for 5 from the line, and a year ago, I said we couldn't put her in the game at the end of at the end of a close game because she couldn't make a free throw, and she was I think she was tired enough that she couldn't have been nervous, and
that
sometimes
relaxed,
sometimes when you're tired, the nerves don't show, and I think she did a good job of that.
The final bucket that Sid hit going in and everything, I'm sure everybody in the arena, including ourselves, figured, all right, Marissa's going to have the ball in her hand. Was it designed like that to fake the handoff and let Sid, and she was wide open?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I came up with it. We don't have that play, but I just felt like, Riss played well, but she'd missed a few in a row there, and they were gloving her. They were really playing her tight, and so we felt like if we just pretended like we were going to set that hand off, that we'd get that defender, her defender, to give ground a little bit to kind of accept the potential handoff, and you're not going to get an easier opportunity, but you still got to make the play, and just to credit to Sid that at the end of the game you're in a position where you want to put the ball in her hands, and so. But a lot of Lex was big tonight too. She missed that one layup that really would have maybe helped cement the game in overtime. But she did a lot of good things, and we missed her in the first half when she had the foul trouble. But a lot of contributions, and just a great way to go into the break for us.
Yeah, the one thing you talked about, 1 turnover at halftime. You picked up a few in the second half, but I'm sure you'd take 6 turnovers in an overtime game any day of the week.
Yeah, I mean that, because we never, they did a nice job defensively, but we never got into an offensive, we didn't shoot the ball nearly as well as they did. But the difference is we got a ton more shots, and you look at, the free throw, we shot 24 free throws, they shot 28, but we took 18 more shots, and that's the turnover differential of 10, and just the job that we did on the offensive glass, and because the rebounding numbers look similar, 41-40, but for us to have 16 boards to their 9 is indicative of what kind of job we did, and particularly Bree on the offensive glass.
Can't find a grittier player than MC McCrory. She was out there. I'll tell you what, not just the shot she made, but how tough she plays every second of every game.
Yeah, she's tough-minded, and she's a little bit horizontally challenged in terms of defensively. God didn't give her the best feet laterally, but she just competes and uses her strength, and did a really nice job for us, and is tough-minded at the end, knocked those free throws down, so she was really pivotal, and that for her to play 39 minutes I never would have thought that, because she's muscular to the point where she's maybe not she's not going to be in Marissa type shape, and we've tried to maybe max out her minutes at 26 or 28, but she gave us 39 tonight and really competed.
Well, again, you talked about it. You needed a big win in the non-conference. You'd had some good wins against South Dakota State. You'd competed, but you needed that one signature win. Tonight was it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I told the team the other day that, I've been in on a mock bracketing thing, and I've heard people say, how do you get in the NCAA tournament? Well, you got to avoid bad losses, and you have to have good wins, as if that's something, And I said we haven't had a bad loss, and really our win at South Dakota State will probably be a really good win by the end of the year, and we needed one more in the non-conference, and we got it. So it's a great opportunity to go in the break, feeling really good about ourselves, and hopefully come back really hungry and confident.
Would have been a good Christmas anyway. This makes it even better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Congratulations,
Thanks,
Flan.
Brad.
All right. Jim Flannery with us. We're going to take this 90-second timeout. You are listening to Creighton University women's basketball on 1180, Zone 2, The Deuce.
Doctors Bimbo and Vince Petro provide quality caring dentistry for your whole family in a friendly, relaxed environment where new patients are always welcome. Look no further than Doctors Bimbo and Vince Petro. For more information or to make an appointment, call today, 397-4505. Doctors Bimbo and Vince Petro at the northwest corner of 144th and Dodge. Former basketball and baseball players, Creighton alums, and all-around sports fans.
Doctors Bimbo and Vince Petro are proud supporters of Creighton University and college athletics.
I'm Dr. No, and I know something you should. So you're a Creighton Federal member and you have your car loan with someone else? What are you, nuts? Creighton Federal is saving members hundreds every month by converting higher interest car loans to lower interest Creighton Federal loans. Call or go to CreightonFederal.org, tell them to show you the case histories, and then show you the money. Ooh, Creighton Federal Credit Union, member NCUA.
Lamar Outdoor Advertising of Omaha is a proud supporter of the Creighton Blue Jays. For years, you've seen Lamar billboards in the Omaha metro area, on the way to work, to the store, to a Blue Jay game. Lamar's billboards can be placed in highly visible areas throughout the Omaha metro. For more information, the website is omaha.lamar.com. Pleased to help the needs of the entire Omaha community and proud to be a supporter of the Creighton Blue Jays, Lamar Outdoor Advertising of Omaha, where customers and businesses meet.
You're listening to Creighton University women's basketball.
Back one final time at the Sokol Arena where the Jays win this one over KU in overtime, 84-81. Jays move to 7-5 on the season. We are with our player of the game, Bree Rollerson, and we just found out this may be a short interview. You can hardly talk, huh?
Yeah.
Great game, Bree. We were kidding. We said maybe you fouled out because you were tired. You wanted to get a rest, huh?
Yeah, no.
The stat line was just unbelievable tonight. 16 points, 13 rebounds, 10 of which were on the offensive glass. You had an assist, 4 blocks, and a steal. You'd probably like that every night.
Yeah, I wish. That'd be great.
Really kind of coming into this, their key player, Gardner, was somebody that you guys were going to have to focus on. She's really been a key player, 18 points a game, really getting the rebounds and everything. You guys got her in some early foul trouble, and it really kind of played a difference in the game.
Yeah, it did. She's a really good post player, and I think it was just good for us to, we were really physical with her, and we tried to double her, and so we got to play off some other players, and I think that really helped us out. Lex was really good about helping me in the post.
We do have to comment on your free throws. Your free throw shooting has gotten really good this year. Yeah. Talk about, maybe your approach to free throw shooting and what you've tried to do a little bit differently.
Well, I shot a lot more outside of practice, and I just think that last year I kind of rushed them, and now I kind of take my time because they're free, so why not make them?
That's right. So, Rob, I think you had a question for Bree.
Well, not only your free throws have improved, just your presence the last couple of games too. You always seem to slow the game down. You look so smooth out there and comfortable with the ball. Is that something that the game is just that slow to you? You can make you seem to make the right decisions in the right space at the right time. Is that something that's always been natural to you?
Kind of. Well, if you ask Flan, he would say I'm just slow. But I think it takes me if I take a second and think about stuff, I usually try and do the right thing. I mean, it doesn't always happen like that, but I try.
This Flan was talking about at the end of this game. You guys had a good non-conference part of the schedule, but you needed that one big win over a Power 5 conference. Obviously, KU has been a team, and I'm sure you've heard about it. Jays, it took them 10 years since we last beat them. They've had a very good team, very good teams, been to the Sweet 16 twice in the NCAA, and we've always just fallen a little bit short. That shot by MC, though, kind of gave you guys a second chance.
Yeah, Flan told us coming into this game that we had to win, and I think that really brought us together. This is the most together our team has played all year, and I think if we play like this most games, we can win a lot more. But this is a good game.
A lot of big plays, but the one at the end, the basket by Sydney Lamberty, I'm sure everybody thought, except everybody on the bench who heard the play drawn up, Everybody thought Marissa would probably have the ball. Great fake by Lamberty. Everybody went for Marissa. She had a clear path to the basket.
Yeah, Sid's getting really good. She's only a freshman, so she's going to get so much better, and it's really exciting for us, like, to have her and Marissa both out there on the perimeter. It's like a double whammy.
Well, and now we got a big post player down there that's contributing like you are. It even makes it better. I know you want to rest that voice. Have a great Christmas. You don't have to go too far to get home.
No.
Everybody else has to get in the car.
Yeah.
You have a short drive. Bree, have a great Christmas. We'll see you in a week.
Yep, thank you.
All right, Bree Rollerson. And Rob, we can go ahead and probably give the rest of those stats.
Yeah, we didn't finish acknowledging all of the important performances tonight. Obviously, we just talked to Bree and her career highs with 16 points, 13 rebounds, and she tied it with 4 rebounds, tied her career high with 4 blocked shots, and we didn't even mention Alexis got into the double-doubles as well. That's her first career double-double for Alexis Aquino-Tico, 13 points and 10 rebounds for Lex. She finished 6 of 10 from the field in the ball game, and she had a couple of blocks as well, as the Jays finished with 7 blocked shots. Sydney Lamberty, we talked about her great performance. Again, 5 assists, just 1 turnover, and she looks to be a threat. You heard Sid talk about her, or you heard Bree just talk about her. You heard Alexis talk about her in the last game. She's getting a lot of high praise from her teammates too, which is important too. It's not just important to put up the numbers, but it's important to have the respect of your teammates as well and play the game the right way. And I think the upperclassmen are acknowledging that with the way that Sydney's performing.
I was a little disappointed she had a turnover tonight, though.
Yeah, just her 10th of the season, so she's made it through 12 collegiate games and has 10 turnovers. That's a phenomenal number. And so overall, team-wise, the Jays 14 assists on 29 baskets, just the 6 turnovers in an overtime ball game. Unbelievable. 7 blocked shots and 7 steals. The Blue Jays bench just with those 3 points from Taylor Johnson. So the starters with 81 points this evening. The Jays outscored the bigger KU team in the paint 38-28, and the points off turnovers was a big difference as well. 23 points off of 16 KU turnovers. Once again, 84-81 win over Kansas, snapping an 11-game losing streak in the series.
Not a good night for KU basketball. The men's team got throttled by Temple 77-52. So Thane's not very happy down in Lawrence here.
Well, we're happy to contribute to that.
Absolutely. We'd like to thank all of our fine sponsors for tonight's game. Complete Nutrition, Camping World of Omaha, Creighton Federal Credit Union, giving members better choices, James Bimbo Petro Dental Offices, Fernando's, Lamar Outdoor Advertising, and Vintage Financial Group, a NABCAP Advisory Award winner. So for Rob Sims, this is Brad Burwell reminding you and the 1,248 fans that were in attendance and those of you that were at home, the Jays win this one in overtime, 84-81. We wish you all a Merry Christmas. We'll be back a week from tomorrow as the Jays take on Georgetown. Good night, everybody.